Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
To the side, Pedersen, Besser scores! Besser has his 6th against the Oilers this year. Split the night and touch the sound of silence.
Oh, man. Connor Halley. I'm not sure I could have picked a better, more fitting song to start the show today. Holy cow. Because, hey, you know what? Oiler fans, sometimes you need to smile and laugh because otherwise you're going to drive yourself crazy. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Tuesday edition, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And so the experts at PlayAlberta.ca are suddenly looking at, geez, we might have to really rejig these odds now all of a sudden because the Oilers, not good. Not good. Well, I shouldn't say that. Started well, which we've seen lots this year. Now, I know the shots were 19-2, and Edmonton definitely was outskating them there, outchanced them. They were leading. I think the 19 number is a little misleading because how many of them were outside shots with nobody in front of the net, right? But still, hey, you weren't in the defensive zone, which is great because if you're not in the defensive zone, virtually no chance they score. The problem was Vancouver spent a total of 9 seconds in the offensive zone over 2 minutes and scored twice. Then they added a third. They scored 3 goals in 3 minutes and 22 seconds. And the game was literally over right then, right there. And if you go back and you watch those goals, it's like, why? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand it. So, like the Quinn Hughes goal. Now the Quinn Hughes goal is unlucky, right? I'll say that one. It's unlucky, right? But the Nils Höglander goal, like Evan Bouchard, come on, man. Are you serious right now? So Draisaitl wins the faceoff. And now it's kind of an odd one because he wins it to the top of the circle, so not strong enough back to the point. And then Warren Foegele races for it, tries to dump it in. It hits the Vancouver player. If you just stop the play right there, and Evan Bouchard's just like, okay, you know what? It's 3-2 game. We scored literally 2 minutes earlier. We've got momentum. I'll just retreat. And it's going to be a 2-on-2. And Draisaitl had speed coming back. It would have been a 3-on-3. It wouldn't have been, although a 3-on-3 earlier in the game, they got killed on, right? But so we'll see. And if maybe they would have given up another one. But the first goal, you know what, Desharnait's own goal, that sucks. But the second goal, Vancouver starts behind their own net. And Edmonton just says, here's the middle of the ice, no problem. What did we talk about yesterday? Right on the show. Teams want to attack in the middle of the ice. They love it. It's where you can create danger, right? You want to create space there. So Edmonton, you have Holloway in front of the net. Draisaitl's over on the left. One pass, boom, they're up on the wall. The next pass, now it's right cross ice. Joshua, who's, fourth line winger on their team, enters his zone with speed, and Warren Foegele and Brett Kulak decide, it's Elias Pettersson down here. Let's go attack him and leave the slot wide open for Priest Suter. And then Priest Suter comes in. I'm not sure he could have shot it more through Stuart Skinner. That sequence summarized the Oilers season better than anything. Easy zone entry, bad decision, no communication, and then a muffin shot right through the goalie. Second goal, you've been up 19-2 in shots, and now suddenly you find yourself down 2-0. They have 2 goals on 4 shots. They went through a span where they scored 3 goals in 4 shots. Come on. Like, at some point, I get that the Oilers give up chances, but your goalie's got to make a save. Like, that's got to be stopped. It has to be, especially when your team's struggling. But then, hey, I give Skinner credit on the Bouchard gaff. Because not the thing about the Bouchard play that irritated me the most was he makes a read, he makes a play that's high risk at a time that is unnecessary. There's half the game left. It's 3-2. You've had long stretches where you've had the puck way more. What are you doing? Right? And then when he backtracks, he gets to the blue line, coasts. If he would have kept skating, he's right on Nils Höglander. Because Skinner actually made a really good save on the initial shot. And then Höglander pounds home the rebound because Bouchard's like, I skated hard back to the blue line. And then to compound the issue, because that's what it is right now for the Oilers. Like, I love it when I'm getting compound interest. That's great. But when you're compounding mistake after mistake after mistake, and guess what? Your head coach, no accountability. He's talked, I don't know how many times Jay Woodcroft has mentioned the standard, our standard, the standard. So what's your standard? Right? And Speck asked him last night. There's your opportunity to say, yeah, not good enough. I'm not saying you have to bench players forever. I don't say, go crazy and put a guy in the press box. Of course not. But why in that moment? What else do you have to lose? Your team continues to make, so it was not only the bad pinch, it was the lack of effort. I could even say, a guy's trying, you know what, he's trying to read the play. Maybe I could live with that. But the stopping, moving your feet on a back check, that's inexcusable. There's never a reason to do that. No reason. You could at least make an argument. Defenseman sometimes split-second decision, boom, I'm pinching. Okay. Sometimes it's not going to work out. I can at least rationalize that. Explain to me how you can rationalize the lack of effort on a backtrack. And how is that okay? How is that your standard? And how is it not below your standard? Why can't you they come over to the bench? You don't even have to say anything to the player. You whisper to Dave Manson, he's out of the rotation for the rest of the period. No problem. Because that's what happens. You don't have to lean down and tell the player you're benched. You don't have to say that. It's pretty obvious when the next time they call up, okay, Nurse and Cece, you're up. Desharnais, Kulak, next up, Cece, Ekholm. You get the picture as Evan Bouchard. You don't have to say anything because he should know right then and there. Now, if he wants to ask, great. So, Coach, why was I sat down? Well, here's the video. Let's go watch it, Evan. I love it. Thanks for asking. See this here? It's a 3-2 game. We've talked about from the start of training camp is to learn to play comfortable in one-goal games. You don't always have to score the next goal. We've talked about this. Supposedly, this is our standard. But none of that happens. You just keep on playing ho-hum like no big deal. So what do you expect? Anybody who's a parent, heck, if you were a child who had parents who said, if you do that one more time, you're going to your room. And then the kid does it. Well, if you do that one more time, like it's infuriating. I can tell you, you read the book. I read the book. Maybe some of you have read the book. And it talked about easiest way to parent. You tell your kids very calmly. That's 1. That's 2. And if you get to that's 3, you say nothing else. And it's like, go to your room. And when they're a 3-year-old, they get a 3-minute timeout. When they're a 4-year-old, they get a 4-minute timeout. But you know what? The book also says when they come out of the room, you say nothing. Because they know, because you set the standard of what the discipline's going to be. You don't have to talk more. There's nothing else to say. They just spent 3 minutes feeling shame. Now they come out. They're fine. Evan Bouchard's, you know what? He's not a porcelain doll. If he can't handle missing what would be the equivalent in 9 minutes, probably 4 shifts. If those 4 shifts where he's on the bench, either A, you're like, well, our team's not good enough without him. Bad message. B, if he folds because he missed 4 shifts after not giving the required effort on a backtrack, then you know what you've got in the player. Move on. And I don't think he would. So I don't understand, like, every facet of this team right now is underperforming. Goaltending, team defense, offense, coaching, managing, everything. So What are you going to do? You're just going to keep trotting out the same things, hoping it changes? Hey, the Oilers got the 32nd place San Jose Sharks. Oh, by the way, the Oilers are 31st. The San Jose Sharks will enter that game. Now, maybe they'll shock the world and win tonight, right? Their coach is talking big, which we'll get to that a little bit later on. But the Sharks probably will lose. And they will set the modern day NHL record for longest winless streak to start the season at 12 games. And then they'll look and they'll see the standings. Oof, it's the Edmonton Oilers. Geez, if we're going to win, maybe our best chance to win is to take on the 31st place team. Right? Maybe. Like, it's not like the Oilers are going to. Now, the Oilers have spanked them for fun before, and maybe they will. And honestly, if I'm the Edmonton Oilers and I get up 2-0 in that game, I'm going to try to make it 12-0. Because you've got so many players on your team right now who have virtually no offensive confidence. Hardly any. I saw David Johnson put this out, and he was talking about, shots for the Edmonton Oilers. Last year, Connor McDavid, 45. Now, this is according to the NHL Edge website, right? That tracks distance of shots, everything like that. What's high danger, and not just distance, but a high danger shot, because they use video and everything to track it. Last year, 45% of Connor McDavid's shots were high danger chances. 45. This year, 23% of his shots. And he's shooting at basically the same rate. So what's happening? The Oilers as a group. Did you know there's 2 forwards, Connor Halley? 2 forwards. And I'm going to, this would be a great trivia question because I don't think anybody's going to get it. I'll wait and see. I'll give you a guess. The 2 Oiler forwards who were here last year, who have a higher percentage of their shots that are high danger chances this year than last year. So that's McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, Kane, Hyman, Ryan, Janmark, McLeod, Fogle, Holloway. Right? Out of those 10, there's 2. One significantly, the other one barely, but still, it's an improvement. 2 players who have had a higher percentage of their shots this year that are high danger chances compared to last year. Any guess, Con Man?
Fogle? Is Warren Fogle one of them?
Who's your other guess?
Oh gosh, someone in the bottom. I feel like it's gonna be someone used. Like it's not a key contributor. Let's go Derek Ryan.
Derek Ryan, no. And also Warren Fogle, incorrect. Because I get it why people would say that, right?
He's been good.
Yeah.
Is that his chance?
Oh, is that his chance? That goal? That's a tough goal to get called off, I thought, last night. But nonetheless, we'll let you think about it. 2 forwards who have better. You would be you'd be surprised. So a lot of text flying in at 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. And because it's hot. We're gonna open up the phone lines a little bit later on. Many of you are spicy. I like it. You should be. Like, because we'll be like, honestly, something's got to change here. Now, Jack Campbell, if you missed it, he's being placed on waivers. I do not expect Jack Campbell to get claimed tomorrow. So he'll go down to the AHL. They're going to recall Calvin Pickard. We talked about this yesterday in the show. I thought it should happen. And now it's happened. And so Jack Campbell, because you had to come to a point where you're going to find out if Jack Campbell can ever play again or not. So let him go to the American League, gain some confidence, see what he does. And not one game. Honestly, I would need to see 5 games from Jack Campbell, minimum. And I'm not just looking at the save percentage, and I'm the Oilers. I'm going to look at the video. I'm going to see how is he playing? How controlled is he? How is he reading the play? What kind of saves is he making? If he gets his mojo back, great. Maybe he never will. I don't know the answer. But I can tell you he's not getting it back in the NHL. This is just a fact. The Oilers can't give him any games. So away they go. And Calvin Pickard, honestly, I could make the argument I would start Calvin Pickard against the San Jose Sharks. I'm not even joking. Stuart Skinner has a worse save percentage than Jack Campbell right now. Now, I know that's not going to happen. They're going to go with Stuart Skinner because he's their guy. And maybe he'll get some confidence against San Jose, a team that just doesn't score any goals. It does save the Oilers about $387,000 in cap space, which if they actually get back into the wild card race, you notice how I said wild card race? They're not going to win the division. Sorry, Oilers fans. They're not finishing second in the division. That ship has sailed. They're now battling to be a wild card team. That's what the season shapes up as. So even if Campbell's down there, they're accruing cap space. So it actually benefits you on two fronts. Creates more cap space that can be accrued during the year. And you'll find out either Campbell's going to play or he's done and you buy him out in the summer. Now, maybe you could trade him, but then you're probably going to have to throw in another asset to do it. So we'll see. Hey, Greg, 7 months from displaced you, Connor. That's rude, man. I think that is hurtful. That's rude. For those who don't know, I'll be honest. As I was watching the game last night, the limited hair on the back of my neck did start to tingle a bit, because that would be awful, right? Like, I made that statement pretty confident because I've seen how bad the San Jose Sharks are. But after watching last night's game, like, I'm still confident, but I'm not as confident. Because if the Oilers do not beat the San Jose Sharks, I agreed that I would grow out the Jim Leahy, terrible, stereotype male pattern baldness. Because I can grow hair on the sides and in the back, just not on the top or the front. And I'm sorry if some of you are walking around like the Costanza. I just don't think it's a good look. It would be a terrible look for me. But I was so confident the Oilers would win the game on Thursday that I would grow my hair out for 7 months for the Leahy. God, that better not happen. Like, I will be beyond upset. I'll honor it because I hate Welchers. I hate him. It's a big character flaw. But my goodness. That'll be like the most, I'll just basically never look in the mirror because I won't like the sight of me. So they better win that game, man. And displaced you, Connor. There's a few choice words I'd say to you, but it's a family radio station, so I won't. Hey, Gregor, the Blues started 7-9-3 prior to the coaching change. There's beacon of hope. They were 15-18-4 at New Year's. Bring up Gleason, Dunner, and North Van. So Gleason is going to be your Jordan Binnington. Yeah. So is Calvin Pickard going to be your Binnington? Or maybe it's Olivier Rodrigue. Could that happen by January? Because remember, Binnington was the 5th goalie on the depth chart for the St. Louis Blues that year. They came out of nowhere. Do I think it would happen again? Probably not. Dare to dream. Now, in case you're wondering, the two players, Ryan McLeod is number one by a significant margin. And people are going to be like, what? Yes, Ryan McLeod, the percentage of his shots from high danger, he's actually way better at getting high danger chances. Now, he hasn't finished any, but him and Evander Kane, who's 2.4% higher. McLeod's like 22% higher than last year. Kane's 2.5% higher. That's it. I mentioned McDavid. He was at 45% of his shots last year. He's down to 22 this year. Now, that's courtesy of the NHL data on NHL Edge. Just talking about what they deem high danger chance. And the amount of shots you have and then the amount of them that come from a high danger area. This is their website. These are their numbers. David Johnson put them together. Thanks, Dave. So, yeah. It's we can talk about, hey, the Oilers are getting shots, but they're not getting much traffic in front, and they're not getting great shots. So we'll see. Dave McCarthy will join us. We got some open line time after that. Mike Kelly. Now, this one, Oiler fans, brace yourself. Okay, brace yourself for this conversation coming up at 3 o'clock because we're going to dig into some numbers from Sportlogic. They use video and everything. They track a lot of things. We're going to talk offense. We'll talk defense. We'll talk goaltending of the Oilers. I'm just telling you, brace yourself. You might want to be sitting down for that segment because it could, you might want to, I don't know if you have a puke bucket at work, right? Might need one. It's not going to be pretty, but it needs to be discussed. Paul Searle will be by later on, talk some NBA. Struddy, Mark Spector, DVD. Sean Brown is on holidays today. He's in Arizona. Brownie texted me last night, I'm taking a week off. The Oilers are terrible. No, I'm kidding. He had it planned before, but would be fitting. We'll return on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes, call Legacy. Call Legacy. For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind, call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
With the rising costs of food, more Edmontonians than ever are struggling to provide a holiday meal for their families. When you donate to the Holiday Hamper Foundation, you help provide festive meals and gifts for 1,500 Edmonton families in need. Your contribution will purchase turkeys or fish for every family, the centerpiece of their holiday meal, and you'll receive a tax receipt for your generous donation. Please support the Holiday Hamper Foundation. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Alberta Junior Hockey League, Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, and the Hockey Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. A new state-of-the-art entertainment center is set to open in Nisku, which will feature 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and restaurant with a viewing area.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On The Rocks. There's something going on every day at OTR. On Monday, Bingo Tunes tonight, Taco Tuesday, Karaoke on Wednesday, Salsa Night Thursday, and live music every weekend on the OTR stage with DJ Kenny K. On The Rocks, Jasper Ave in 118.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2:24 on a lovely Tuesday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Text lines humming. Orders Nation YouTube. People watching there. Also, hello watching on Facebook. I love it. Lots of different ways to absorb the show now. You can listen here, of course, on Sports 1440, any of the apps, iHeartRadio, Radio Player, Stingray. Watch on YouTube for Orders Nation or our Facebook page. It's great. We love it. Lots of comments coming in. We'll get to all those. We will have open line time coming up in 15 minutes as something tells me many of you have a few opinions on the state of the Edmonton Oilers who have waived Jack Campbell today, and he's going to clear. No team's claiming him, so he'll go down to the minors. Calvin Pickard will be recalled, and I'm curious when he gets in the game. Because now I know it's the American League, but he's got a .939 save percentage in 4 games. There's no point calling him up and then having him sit here forever. Call him up and play him. Honestly, why not? You need something. And then if you actually do play him ahead of Stuart Skinner, then that's a little bit of a message to your goalies. The next best message better come that any of the skaters who want to continue to play below this supposed standard, well, you can ride Pine for a half a period if need be. Because you can't just blame the goalies. Yes, they're not good. But look at some of the plays in front of them yesterday. Horrific at times. Like, just unbelievable, to be honest. I was rather shocked by quite a few of them. I was kind of like, are we serious right now? These are the defensive plays that the Oilers choose to make. I don't get it. Let's go around the NHL now. Brought to you by McDonald's, and with McDonald's McPick small combos, you can enjoy a tasty junior chicken or a McDouble with small fries and a small fountain drink for $5.79. Get yours today at McDonald's. Is Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us once again. Davey, how you doing, my man?
Oh, better than I'm sure a lot of the folks in Edmonton these days. Yeah.
Got well, I'm really enjoying. Like, Dave, you're doing so well. You've got like the like you going to a club later on tonight. You got like the strutty, really low V-neck going right now. That's nice. I like it. Really low.
You should see the caliber of jeans that I have on too.
Oh, you're like Kramer, eh? You can barely sit out. You can't get up, can you?
I don't know. Ask Strutty. He knows all about tight jeans.
Oh God, he loves those things.
No. As he says, I'm about to go to the grocery store, start looking for oranges, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. From afar, give us the opinion of what you see from a distance on what is wrong with the Edmonton Oilers and your thoughts on the Jack Campbell placed on waivers.
Well, I was able to see most of the game last night against the Canucks, both as I was finishing up my piece down at the vault, and then by the time I got home, I caught most of the second period and the third. And I'm with you. Like, great start. Great. It's exactly what they needed. But then what was going on in their defensive zone, it was hard to believe that was a National Hockey League team that I was watching with much the same group as we saw last year when they were so dominant down the stretch in the regular season. The goaltending is rightly so getting a lot of criticism, and it should. Neither Stuart Skinner nor Jack Campbell have been nearly good enough. But that being said, are we sure the Oilers weren't rolling out a red carpet right to the doorstep last night against Vancouver? Because it was just much too easy for anybody on Vancouver that had the slightest desire of interest to get to the net. And I don't care if you put Patty Waugh and Marty Brodeur in their primes in the net at the same time right now. It wouldn't much matter until the play in front of the goalie, whoever it is, Campbell, Skinner, Pickard, gets dramatically better. So the goaltending must improve. And again, I'm with you. You call Pickard up. I mean, what better of a team to start a guy against coming up from the AHL than a team that as a whole has less goals than Austin Matthews does himself this season, which the Sharks do, 12 to Matthews 13. So you might as well put him in the lineup and put him on the ice, because it's not exactly like Stuart Skinner's been giving you good goaltending. So put him in. But my word, the play in front of the goalie needs to improve, and it needs to improve in a hurry.
Yeah, no question. Everything about this team has to improve. Shooting, thinking, competing, everything. Defense, goaltending, coaching, managing. Like there's nothing right now in Edmonton that would. I don't think there's anything that would get. Like there might be the odd individual player. Like Warren Fogle, I think, has actually had a really good season, but it's few and far between for the.
It was funny. It was funny when he thought he scored that goal yesterday, a minute into the third period. I mean, at least he got to the net. He was jamming away. I think it was the right call. Probably shouldn't have counted. So that was a deflator at the time for sure, because you think, okay, we're back to within one here with pretty much the whole third period to play. After that goal got called back, to me, honestly, it was like the group was like, all right, not going to be our night. What are we going to do here? And it wasn't like they put on any kind of a push for the remainder of the third. It just looked like frustration set in. And that was it. So just really, really concerning right now.
Dave McCarthy joins us from Sirius XM. David, was quite the game, the earlier game. Toronto and Tampa Bay, back and forth. This was, fire wagon hockey. Nikita Kucherov dominating the first period. Austin Matthews dominating the second period. Then the Toronto scores 2 goals in like 8 seconds. Then Tampa comes back before Jan Krok finally wins the game. It's goaltending in Toronto has not, well, at least from Samsonov, maybe hasn't been at the level they want. And I don't think their defense has been at the level they want. The difference is they're scoring a lot of goals to cover up for some of it.
Yeah, that's basically the reason the Leafs are not in the same position as Edmonton right now, is that at least their top players, by and large, have been productive. I mean, more so than by and large. Austin Matthews been incredible this year. He's got 13 goals in 12 games right now. So he's been unbelievable. William Nylander has been pretty good. He's got a 12-game point streak to start this season. A little quieter last night. But Matthews and Marner really delivered the mail. And Marner might have been one of his better games that he's played all year long last night. The issue in Toronto is that if they're going to have success, you're right. One, goaltending needs to be a bit better. Two, the defensive play, much like Edmonton, needs to improve. But also 3, they need some goal scoring from guys not named Matthews, Marner, Tavares, or Nylander. And finally, last night, that was supplied. Matthew Knies was bumped up to the line with Matthews and Marner, which I called for on the weekend. I said it's time, right? Like, he's not giving you anything on this third line with Camp and Domi. I mean, it's just a line that at best doesn't hurt you, but it's not helping you. And whoever's been on the line with Matthews and Marner at even strength, they hadn't really been that great this year, shockingly, considering the start that Matthews is off to. I said, you might as well give Knies that chance because you don't know what you have there. You know that Yarncroke's probably not the guy. Early on, it has appeared that Tyler Bertuzzi's not the guy. You might have something there in Knies, and so far so good. Sheldon Keefe, I asked him, he do enough to earn another. He said, sure did do enough to earn another look. So he was great last night on that line. But then they also got some contributions from guys down the lineup. Calle Yarncroke was really good on a newly formed line with Max Domi and Nick Robertson, who they called up. Again, I said it's time to give this guy a shot. He got off to a great start in the AHL. You got to bring the guy up and see if he can add another offensive dynamic down the lineup. And that line of Robertson, Domi, and Yarncroke was really good. So they finally got some contributions from down the lineup, which they need. But in saying all that, I'm still of the mind, Jason, that before this team is going to go anywhere that resembles a deep run of the playoffs, the blue line needs to be addressed, and it's going to need to be addressed from outside the organization.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to. And at some point, I think you might, as hard as it is, you're going to have to move a skilled forward in order to do it. I'm not sure there's anybody on the back end. They got some young players they like. Maybe that's what they'll do instead, is move some of their future. But I agree with you. They need to improve on the back end, no question. What about the Washington Capitals and Nick Backstrom? He goes on LTIR. That creates a boatload of cap space for Washington, $9.2 million. The problem is they're not very competitive right now, and it leaves a pretty big hole. So it's not like teams are going to be like, oh, we'll give you a good player, right? Like, what do you think Washington does? Like, do you think, and do you think there's any chance they would be interested in Thomas Hertl?
It's a good question. See, like, so yeah, you dump Thomas Hertl into that hole. Yeah. Because you're right. I mean, in San Jose, there's no purpose there either. I mean, they're not going anywhere for a decade. Like, quite honestly, it's going to be a decade before they turn it around. By that time, Thomas Hertl's wearing his Sharks alumni jacket. So, yeah, I mean, maybe, but like, okay, so you drop Thomas Hertl into the Washington Capitals lineup right now. What does that really do? Does it make them maybe a bit more competitive in the short term? Yeah, maybe. But we're also forgetting about Alex Ovechkin, who's almost 40, and suddenly it looks like if Father Time hasn't caught up, objects in mirror appear closer than they are, right? Like, he has not been dynamic at all.
Yeah.
Evgeny Kuznetsov is at the age that he's at. TJ Oshie is at the age that he's at. John Carlson's at the age that he's like. You drop Thomas Hertl, and I don't see this team suddenly becoming a playoff team. So I think Washington should be in the market right now of trying to divest themselves of long-term big money deals and start to restock their cupboard rather than take on guys that, okay, nice player, but like you have to look reality in the face sometime. The window is closed in Washington for anything other than Alex Ovechkin catching Wayne Gretzky. That's all they're playing for in the short term. The winning window is closed. So to acquire guys that have long-term and big money on their deals, unless you're really making it worth their while, like really, I'm talking like A-level blue chip prospect and pick and Hertl to take them out. My answer would be no if I'm the Washington Capitals.
Well, the reason I say it, because I think San Jose would almost be willing to give him away at this point, because, he's got a long time left, and you mentioned they're in a rebuild, so you move on from him. I'm curious if the owner in Washington says, hey, you know what? Ovi made me millions of dollars extra with all the jersey sales, everything else for years. I'm going to try to keep the team competitive for a few years, and then you know what? After that, whatever. I'll deal with it then. The guy's got more money than, most people for sure. So I wonder if the owner would say, you know what, San Jose, Mike Greer, what do you think? And, if I'm Thomas Hertl, he could say, well, yeah, the long-term future, maybe 3 years down the road in Washington won't be great, but I know the present in San Jose isn't great. So I would waive my new movement clause to go there.
Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. You bring up a really good point. The only thing it's about right now in Washington is getting Alexander Ovechkin to 894. And is he going to need some more talent around him to get there? Last spring I would have said, no, he's going to be just fine. Now I'm thinking like what is he? He's 68, 69 goals away. Suddenly that number looks a little bit bigger. The way he started out and the way the group around him looks would help. So that's the only reason I could see it, but it would be for no other reason than to help Alexander Ovechkin out in terms of putting the team in more of a like you bring Thomas Hertl, you might score some more goals. You're not making the playoffs. Yeah. That's what I see.
Okay. That's totally fair. Well, one other one for you. The Canucks, they look decent right now. There's no question. They got an elite goalie, elite defenseman. They got an elite forward. They got a lot of guys chipping in. Is Rick Tocchet the early leader for the Jack Adams? And who would be his I know it's super early. But who else would be in that conversation?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's hard to argue otherwise. I mean, what did we think about Vancouver coming into the year? If I'm being honest, thought, maybe they could sniff around a wild card spot, keep themselves in the mix, maybe squeeze in if everything goes well. They look like a real team right now. They really do. Their goaltender has been fantastic. Their backup goaltending, when Casey DeSmith has been in the net, has been very good. Elias Pettersson looks like he is sick and tired and fed up of losing, and he's doing something about it. I mean, that guy is on a mission right now. Also contract year, which provides some motivation. But hey, good. If that's what you need to get you going, all the power to you. He's taking advantage of it. Quinn Hughes looks like a guy that is an early season Norris contender because he's not just producing, but he's playing really well defensively. He really seems like he's matured in his game. Brock Besser looks reborn. They've got suddenly a bunch of guys that play pretty good roles like Ilya Mikheyev and Andrei Kuzmenko and Anthony Beauvillier and Connor Garland. Maybe he doesn't want to leave anymore. Like they've got some nice pieces around the edges of their core as well. But in saying all that, the coach has really taken a group and he's built a system everybody's buying in. And they're having success because of it. They don't look like a bunch of individuals out there just trying to do their own thing. There's a purpose to what they're doing. So, at this point, he would be my odds-on favorite to win the Jack Adams in the early going. I look at Tampa Bay right now, and their team looks nothing like it did really anymore outside of their skeleton, their core. as to the way it did when they were winning cups. Like, yes, Point, Kucherov, Stamkos, Cirelli, Hedman, Sergachev. That's still a pretty good spine, right? But the third line that we knew in Tampa is gone. The fourth line is gone. The depth on the back end with guys like McDonough, who was more than depth when he was there, but he allowed Sergachev to be depth. So now he's had to elevate their bottom pairing is not nearly what it was. And they've played without Andrei Vasilevsky so far this year. They've done a pretty good job of keeping themselves in the mix. They weren't thrilled with how they played in Toronto, obviously, last night. And the 3 of the last 4 games, they've taken leads into the third, and they've let an extra point get away. So I'm really interested to see what they do here tonight on Tuesday in Montreal. They're going to start Matt Tompkins. So you'd think they're really going to want to be good defensively in front of their inexperienced, albeit older goalie in Matt Tompkins. But also, they talked the talk coming out of last night's game about being way better defensively, just not nearly good enough. And they admit, well below our standards here. And we've got the guys that can elevate. See how they fare tonight. But if they can, and Vasilevsky's around the corner, Jason, like American Thanksgiving before December, John Cooper said, is when they're zeroing in. So that's like 2.5 weeks. What is that, like 6 to 8 more games to get through before Vasilevsky's back in the mix? They can get through that. I could see them really taking off in the second half, and then I could see John Cooper getting into the mix. He's never wanted a Jack Adams. It's shocking to me that he hasn't, generally because his team is always good. So it's usually the guy like Tocchet, right, that takes what everyone thinks is a scrap heap and turns them into something. It's never been the case in Tampa. But much like what Jared Bednar had to do last year, where he scraped and clawed something together night after night in Colorado, John Cooper's not far from doing that this year. And if they can have a good second half and be firmly into the playoffs and be comfortable in their standing, I could see John Cooper getting a lot of love for guiding the team through what's obviously been a pretty first tough 2 months from a personnel standpoint.
Davey, great stuff, my man. Have fun getting oranges at the grocery store, and we will chat with you next Tuesday.
All right, Jason. See you, buddy.
There you go. That is Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. We got a lot of text line in. 10, 12. Hey, Gregor, the Oilers need to have a .750 winning percentage to make the playoffs. Season is over, from Doug. Well, Doug, you are correct in the sense the Oilers have to play well, but your math is not correct. The Oilers would need, if we're going just by winning percentage, they would need a .590 winning percentage. Because to me, let's say they need between 88 and 91 points. 91 being the highest, that's 96, right? I don't think you'll need 96, but I went even a high bar at 96. So that's a .590 winning percentage, right? You have 22 losses. You have 7 ties, overtime losses, and then you have 44 wins. 42, excuse me. 42, 22, and 7. That would get you to 91 points, which is 96. So your winning percentage is .590. Your points percentage would be .640. So that's what they would need, is a .640 points percentage. And that's at 96. Let's say they need a total of 94 points, and it drops down a little bit. But they don't need a .750 winning percentage. I like numbers, but we have to keep them realistic. That's not realistic. They don't need to win 75% of their remaining games. If they did that, they'd be a 100-point team. And that's obviously not happening. 833-401-1440. We'll open up the phone lines. We're going to go. You get one thought on, if you were the head coach, what is one key decision you would make before the San Jose game? Or for the San Jose game, I should say. 833-401-1440.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Get your vehicle ready for winter with Jiffy Lube. Drive-in, drive-out service with 25 extra air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Be wise, winterize. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
The NFL lives at the Canadian Brew House with killer prizes and $1 off tankards of Bud and Bud Light every game day. Enter to win a tailgate barbecue box every Monday night. Thursdays, a chance at the NFL home opener of your choice next season. And a CBH NFL hoodie could be yours on Sundays. Plus, the ultimate sports trip of a lifetime for two to the Super Bowl. Up your odds and enter every time you catch the NFL action at the Canadian Brew House.
Don, buddy, want to come over and watch the game? I'll make a big salad.
I don't know, man.
Steve, come over and watch the game. I've got a massive salad here.
Yeah, my wife needs me to go shopping with her.
Mike, want to watch the game and eat salad with me?
Who is this?
Did I mention I've got a bunch of Will Hawk beef jerky too?
I'll be right over. I'm heading over now. I'm already at your front door.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
Will Hawk is the home of Alberta's best beef jerky
in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! You know,
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. They've continued developing tools and are excited to announce their newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please?
249. Sports 1440 Orders Nation YouTube. The text line is humming along. A lot of trade request ideas coming in. I'm just going to say this. Philadelphia is not trading Carter Hart for Jack Campbell, Broberg, and a first. I'm sorry. Right? It's not happening. Jack Campbell has no value. Philip Broberg has very little. And a late first-round pick doesn't have that much to get a young goalie like Carter Hart. It is not remotely close to happening. Okay? Not going to happen at all. So, hey, guys, one thing I'd change was would it be to have the mindset that anyone who underperforms get benched for at least one shift. Anyone from Vitamin J. Well, I do think he needs to set a standard a little bit higher. I think that's totally fair. He's talked about this standard all the time. And see, like making a mistake is one thing. Certain mistakes are going to happen in the course of a game. It's a split-second decision. But when you've talked about when we're up, it's halfway through the game, we don't need to make an unnecessary pinch like Evan Bouchard did. And it's not even a pinch, really. It's Bouchard elected to when Vancouver had complete control of the puck to put himself in no man's land. He wasn't going to knock the guy off the puck. He wasn't 5 feet from him. but he moved close enough to now the guy was like, okay, you just left open. Guess what? The wide open middle. Boom, off the boards. Guys behind you. Thank you very much. Like, you can't make that play at any point ever. If you just retreat out, Vancouver comes up on a 2-on-2, maybe a 3-on-2, but Draisaitl was coming back, would have been a 3-on-3. And then you have confidence that you're like, hey, you know what? We can shut a team down on a 2-on-2. I know it didn't happen on the second goal, but it should most times. Right? That's got to be your mindset. And the worst part is they've talked about this. Like, oh my goodness. Like, the orders are like the toddler that, as a parent, you got to be super patient with. Okay, geez, you got to keep telling them. And then all of a sudden one day they remember it. Right? Please and thank yous. Right? Don't talk with your mouth full. Like, little things you teach kids because they have to learn. And you have to be patient. You have to tell them. But these are grown men. You shouldn't have to be taught that. Now, if there's 5 minutes left in the game, completely different. Because now you are in, we got to attack because we got to try to make a play. This was halfway through the second period of a 3-2 hockey game. And then not only do you make the bad play, then you don't give everything you have to get back. You cross the blue line and you stand up straight, for God's sakes. That was unbelievable to me. Unreal and absolutely not. And Bouchard knows he made the mistake. You see his reaction, right back to the bench. Oh, not going to hear anything, but hey, I'll go there. It's unreal to me that you can allow that to be acceptable for you. Hey, guys, one thing I do next game, Holloway more ice time. Just played his best game, played his most minutes. Trev, I like that point. I thought Dylan Holloway was quite good last night. I mean, him and Fogle, right? That Draisaitl, they were good. Had some energy. Now, like, if eventually you want to cash in, I get that. But at least there was more good than bad, right? That's a win. You take that as a win. I quite like the game last night from Holloway. So, and you know what? Keep playing him. Good skater, right? The forecheck, just pressure, and we talk about it, pressure. Just pressuring led to the Draisaitl goal. Holloway doesn't get a point, but he made a really good play and somewhat of a simple play, and it started in his own zone. Watch how hard he skated to get close enough that he could at least make the other team have to make a split-second decision. That's what you have to do. 833-401-1440. You can dial us up or get us on the text. Text line is hopping. Hey, guys, shut the blender line off and let some guys crate thus far. It's only worked for Kane and Gagne. These players are good enough. I wouldn't fire Jay Woodcroft for anything, by the way. That one comes from Ari. Ari, you know what? Last night, for the most part, there was a little bit more consistency in the lines. But I think it's fair that you could say, you know what? Let's just, like, if you're ever going to do it, the next game is the game to do it. Right? Like, I know San Jose is the only team in the league worse than you right now, standings-wise, but they don't have a lot of talent. Now their coach is talking all big about how, we'll see who works hard, whatever. Well, they can work hard all they want. They don't have a lot of skill, right? They're going to get outskilled most nights. So then they have to outwork the other team, which is really hard to do every night. It's difficult to do. Right? Some nights you're going to be like, okay, maybe we match it, but we got a little bit more skill, we win. Great. Some nights you might outwork the other team, but they have more skill and they still beat you. And yes, giving up 20 goals in 2 games, awful. But again, watch the Sharks and tell me what their defensive system is. Just watch. Because I have no idea what it is. And I'm not sure the players there know what it is. So, while the coach can say all the big stuff, he's part of that issue. No question about it. Hey, Gregor, can't Manson just bench Bouchard? Why can't I tell the head coach? Might need guy to have his butt stapled from Northside Watsy. It's a good question, Watsy. I think it all depends. Usually in my conversations, having talked to players and having talked to coaches, you're right. An assistant coach could come over and just say, hey, I'm not playing this guy now. And I would assume if it got to that, then the head coach would say yes. But I don't know. I've never asked a question, and maybe it's a question I should ask to say, okay, like, and that's good. It's not going to be one in front of the mic because I won't give you the answer. It'll be one where you just say, hey, I'm just curious. What's your guys' process here? Do you let the assistant? I would assume you would, but again, I don't like assuming. Because to me, if I'm a head coach and I trust my assistant coach to run the back end, and if he thinks, okay, you know what, enough's enough, this guy's got to sit down, then I think you're bang on. The assistant coach. But if whatever reason the position coach doesn't want to do it, then the head coach, guess what? You got to do it, right? You have to. Like at some point, there needs to be some accountability amongst your players, and especially your top 10, your top 2 line forwards and your top 4 defense. Because if you never hold any of them accountable, what do you got? Right? What do you have? You have a record of 2-8-1, which, by the way, sorry to throw salt in your wound right now, Oilers fans. This matches the worst 11-game start in franchise history. Only 2 other times. The Oilers started back in 1979. Right? Technically, 1980 is their first year, but it's 1979, 1980. Since then, Connor wasn't even born when the Oilers started in the NHL. It's only happened twice. 2-8-1. 1992, 1993. 1993, 1994. Oddly enough, the only 2 seasons in NHL history that had 84-game seasons. Now, I don't think they were fatigued through the first 11. Just saying. They were 2-8-1. The 92-93 team actually won their first 2 games. Or sorry, the 93-94. They actually won first 2. Then they were a tire fire. They lost 2, then they tied 1, then they lost 11 in a row. They ended up being 2-13-1. So like the Edmonton Oilers are going to have to be really bad to match that. That's the worst start in franchise history over 16 games. Like that's really hard to match. The other team, they actually started 1-8-1, but then they won 4 in a row. They won their 11th game, whereas the Oilers lost theirs. But then they won their next 3 after that. Ended up being 5-8-1. The Edmonton Oilers, a loss against San Jose would then move it into a tie for 2 teams in franchise history. Worst start at 2-9-1. God help us if that happens. And I'm being selfish. I'm talking about myself here right now because I do not want the Leahy. I don't want it. Not even close. Like it's, irks me just thinking about it. I want to punch myself in the face for even bringing it as a possibility. Because after last night, anything's possible, man. As a famous Boston Celtics player yelled into the crowd once, anything is possible. Right? I would like to think a loss to the San Jose Sharks isn't possible. But in theory, it is. And the Edmonton Oilers, wake up. Please. For the love of everything in Edmonton. Specifically my hairline. The other factor is, hey, Gregor, were you serious? Would you start Pickard? Yes, I would. He has played 4 games in the minors. He's played incredibly well. Right? Is there a better team? Now, I know you can say, well, play Skinner. He's got to get some confidence. Sure. But I need a win. And right now, Stuart Skinner, the guy they just sent down, Jack Campbell, has a higher save percentage than Stuart Skinner. Everybody's saying Campbell's terrible. Well, Stuart Skinner has a worse save percentage right now. Now, has he had some better games? Sure. But so has Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell was great against Nashville. Skinner started 6 games. Campbell started 5 games. Skinner's 1-4-1. Campbell's 1-4. Neither has a good save percentage. So Campbell goes down, and I get it. Trust me, I'm not advocating for them to send Stuart Skinner down. That'd be foolish. But right now, remove emotion from your decision. You need a damn win. I'm guessing they'll start Stuart Skinner. But even if Skinner beats San Jose, like if you call up Calvin Pickard and you know what, you play Skinner, and let's say they win, 5-2. It's not like San Jose is this offensive juggernaut. Right? You just need the team to feel some confidence in a goalie. And you know what? If it's Calvin Pickard for 2 weeks, then it's Calvin Pickard for 2 weeks. It shouldn't matter. They're past the point. It should be not worried about feelings. It should be worried about winning. And there is one other thing I'm going to get to about the Oilers last night that irked the you-know-what out of me. You're down 5-2 on the road. You have JT Miller giving cheap shots to your captain. And, Hyman, in the moment, did something. Thank you. When it became 5-2, there's 10 minutes left in the game. Was there like a face wash? Was there anything? Show some desire. Show you care a little bit. Because we all knew the game was over. They weren't coming back to win that game. Get a pound of flesh. The Vancouver Canucks aren't that big of a physical team. You know what? And it means every player. I'm not just saying Vincent Desharnais and Darnell Nurse and Evander Kane. Someone else step out of their damn comfort zone and do something. That was embarrassing last night for that. To me, that was the most frustrating. You got your coach gets kicked out of the game. You don't even have players who are just like, oh, you know what? Whatever. What a joke. Like, if that's where you want to see, to me, what's concerning is the lack of cohesiveness, annoyance, you name it. It's lacking right now for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's get to Con Man on a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have waived goaltender Jack Campbell for the purpose of reassignment. Campbell is 1-4 in the season with a 4.5 goals against average and .873 save percentage this season. The Oilers back in action next, taking on the San Jose Sharks. Those Sharks in action tonight. They host the Flyers. That one gets going at 8:30. You've also got the Ducks up against the Penguins, the Devils in Colorado, Coyotes battle the Kraken, the Flames welcome the Preds to town, Jets in St. Louis, Rangers host the Red Wings, Islanders take on the Wild, Sabres in Carolina, and the Lightning up against the Montreal Canadiens in the association. The Raptors in action tonight. Staying in Texas, they'll take on the Mavs. Tip off 6:30. Also, Warriors in Denver, Kings take on the Trailblazers, the Bucks host the Pistons, Lakers travel to Houston, Bulls hosting the Suns, and the Nets take on the Clippers. You've also got a good one as the Celtics take on the 76ers, that one starting at 5. According to reports, free agent quarterback Carson Wentz will be signing with the LA Rams. Wentz appeared in 8 games with the Commanders this past season, and Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon says quarterback Kyler Murray will make his season debut this Sunday against the Falcons. 2 games in the AJ tonight, Whitecourt in Camrose and Brooks in Grand Prairie. Both those games will get going at 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mike Kelly of Sports Logic and the NHL Network, as well as Paul Sir to look around the NBA. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Storm chasing sounds exciting. Most days, though, it's a lot of standing in the rain. But you know what's exciting and dry? PlayAlberta.ca. With hundreds of new live tables, online casino games, and instants.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code Casino50 and get a $50 welcome bonus. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's hearts fill with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family. Fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
Now, if I lift this up and then hit it right here...
No, it's hit, then lift.
What are you guys doing? We can't get this thing to work.
For guaranteed same-day service, call Franco Sorgiovanni at Corporate Business Solutions before someone makes it even worse. Most issues can be resolved within 20 minutes or less. Corporate Business Solutions is an authorized Konica Minolta office equipment dealer for sales and service. Call CBS today at 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Since 1987, Ram Elevators and Lifts has been raising the bar and more by manufacturing superior elevators for both residential and low-rise commercial buildings. What drives them? A vision of accessibility, because they know that an elevator or lift is more than just a mechanical device. It's the freedom to go where you want. Ram's North American-made elevators, starting as low as $32,900, are rated as the best residential elevators by Forbes magazine. Grounded simplicity, elevated design. Click on trustram.com.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of your order at papajohns.ca.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 3 o'clock on Sports 1440 live in Orders Nation YouTube as well. For those watching on Facebook, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Listening, streaming wherever you are. We love it. The Gregor Show, as always, is presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, have all sorts of fun. And hey, maybe, you know what? You look around, you're like, geez, I need a little luck. Well, maybe you could get lucky tonight at PlayAlberta.ca. $18 million up for grabs in the Lotto Max. So check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up this hour, Mike Kelly. Brace yourselves, Oilers fans. Brace yourselves for this. Paul Sir will be by. Jason Strudwick. Speculator on DVDs. We got lots to get to. But first, we're going to get to the Oil Report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton, where right now until the end of the month, you want to get a sick deal. How about $7,500 off right now on any 2023 S60, XC90, you name it, they got it. From the 12-time Excellence Award winner, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Mike Kelly from NHL Network and Sports Logic joins us. And Mike, there, when you crunch the numbers and you look them all at Sports Logic, there are very few that are flattering for the Edmonton Oilers. They are. What's interesting is if you look at the NHL's Edge site and you go by forwards, most of their forwards, the amount of shots they're taking this year, way fewer of them are actually high danger compared to the rate they were at last year. Does that match with what you're seeing?
Well, they're still getting a fair amount of what we would call high danger shots. I mean, the team is top 10 in high danger shots the way that we calculate it, and which is a little different than that. But even if you just look at location-based stuff like you're talking about, they're still top 10. So it's, you know, they should be scoring more than they are based on the offense that they're producing. That's
fair.
Going to happen, right? It's you get into 10, 12 game samples at the start of the year, squirrely things happen to a degree. They're going to start scoring more, but that's not going to alleviate all of their issues. And it's not to say that they don't have some issues offensively either. But that's part of what kind of, I think, this concoction of everything going wrong at the same time has been for them.
Oh, well, that's the thing. It is there's not one element of their game that you can look and say, hey, I think, you know what, this will get us through tonight.
Yeah.
They have nothing that they can rely on. Like last night, they get a lot of shots early. They can't score. Now, they had very little traffic. I would argue that they still don't have enough traffic in front of opposing goaltenders. But then they give up 2 goals on 4 shots. And like the first goal is unlucky. It's an own goal. But the second goal, it's a 3-on-3. And they decide inexplicably to say, well, let's just not cover the guy in the most danger area in the middle of the slot. And then the goalie has the puck go right through him. Like there was no more accurate depiction of the Oilers season than that second goal by the Canucks.
I think you make an excellent point. And that goal, like for me, if I was a coach, and I'm not, but one of the things that would drive me nuts is getting scored on a controlled breakout.
Yep.
Because you have no excuse defensively. You're set up in whatever defensive way you want to be set up. There's no line change happening. There's no, guy falling over somewhere. Like everyone's set up to defend.
Yep.
And you should never get beat off the rush in that spot. So you got Holloway in front of the net, and you got Draisaitl, who is on his left side, but the right wing side for the Canucks. He's taken away the D-to-D pass, or at least not allowing the breakout there. That's fine. So Holloway's got really one job, which is try to disrupt the swing guy on the other side on the breakout. He doesn't do that. So puck goes to Suter. He's got a world of room in front of him to do whatever he wants now. And still, like you said, it's a 3-on-3 situation. So he goes up the ice, snaps it across to the right wing side, and the Canucks right winger takes the puck into the zone. Now you've got your left D and your forward that's back, both going to that guy. And Draisaitl's kind of coasting back through the neutral zone. Holloway actually skated kind of hard back, but he's already out of the play. It's not up to him to cover anyone at that point. And Suter's left wide open to receive a pass. You got 4 guys watching the puck carrier, 2 guys going at him, and the puck comes to Suter. And like the crazy thing to me is not only can he just walk in and shoot, and you'd like a save there. Of course you'd like a save there, but it's still a decent look. Is that Connor Garland on the left side was wide open for a one-timer. Like they had 2 grade A options off of a controlled breakout. That can't happen. Like that should never happen.
No, 100%. And then you go back to the 4th goal. It's an offensive zone faceoff. Draisaitl wins the faceoff. Now, kind of odd because it just goes to no man's land. Gets in a race, tries to dump it in, it hits the Vancouver player, fine. It's just inside. They're just at the blue line. And Evan Bouchard, in a 3-2 game, midway through the game, decides to just put himself in no man's land. Easy chip off the boards. It's 2-on-1. And then he doesn't get back hard enough. And the guy that's his scores the rebound goal. Right? Like if Bouchard just retreats, it's a 2-on-2, maybe a 3-on-2, maybe, probably just a 2-on-2. Right? Like, and then Mike, like there's zero accountability from the coach. So to me, I look at the players and they're all to blame for lots of their decisions because a lot of them are split-second decisions that they're NHL players they should make. But when your coach keeps allowing the mistakes and the lack of effort to just be given with no recourse, that's a problem. Like I'm not saying that you bench Bouchard forever, but I could have benched him for the rest of that period. It's only 3 shifts at the end of the day, right? Maybe 4 in the final 9 minutes for him. Maybe. Like, are you telling me that your team can't survive him on the bench for 4 shifts?
Yeah, and look, you can't. You understand that you can't sit guys for games. Like they don't have enough guys, right? With the cap situation they're in. But I'm with you. I'm fully with you. Like that's where the accountability should be, I think, because the pinch is one thing, and you'd hope that, I think it was the game before, but you'll correct me if I'm wrong, like Cody Ceci pinched on the right side, right? I think it was the first goal of the game.
Dallas.
Second, but Dallas led to Duchesne's goal. You'd think those are teachable moments. You're like, hey, if it's 50-50, like we're having enough time keeping the puck out of our net here. Let's try to pick our spots a little better. So the pinch wasn't great, but then again, the coasting back, and you end up being a split second behind the guy who scores on the rebound. That would drive me nuts. So that's where you'd like to probably think, okay, you're going to sit and miss a few shifts. We can afford to do that. And if you can't afford to do that, well, how do you hold anybody accountable? How do you correct any of this? Because the coach has talked about individual mistakes being costly. A lot of people have focused on the defensive zone, the D zone coverage. Like, frankly, I think that's been blown a little out of proportion. This is a team that's given up 17 goals off the rush, by far more than anyone in the league. The chances aren't so bad. It's still not great, but they're getting that has nothing to do with whether you're playing man on man or zone. I mean, that's 17 goals. Boston's barely given that up all year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to hold guys accountable either, then I don't know how you're expecting things to get better, because like this team is playing like they've lost all their confidence. But given the spot they're in, to have guys not hustling, to not be executing in the checking elements of the game, that to me is really troubling.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. So you look at their numbers overall, and we talk about the rush chances, and to me, it's not just the rush chance, because we saw it in that second goal. It's they're giving chances off the rush, Mike, but they're giving up high danger chances off of 2-on-2 rushes. Like obviously the odd man rushes we saw against Dallas, they got murdered on that one. That resulted in 3 goals off of odd man rushes. For sure, not great. But even on even man rushes, they're neutral. So I know they tried the 1-1-3, and that's where Fogle was back. He's just outside of his blue line. But then they decide him and Kulak to both go to a fourth line winger on the boards and vacate the middle. So I don't when guys play 1-1-3, I haven't seen where you're like, okay, we're going to have the third guy attack to the boards where the defenseman already is.
Yeah, like on that one, again, like I think it all started to break down with how easily Holloway allowed that exit to occur. But as you said, it's still a 3-on-3 effectively when Suter gets in the neutral zone. And yeah, 2 guys went to 1 guy, and it all caved in from there, for sure. And so just rush chances, whether it's even man, odd man, whatever. Like they're giving up 7 a game. It's 23rd in the league. It's not great. Shouldn't kill you. They're not getting saves either. And like we can talk about goaltending as much as you want here, because that's where I think the biggest problem is. And I think like part of the issue is, if I say that, then people's reaction is almost like, well, you're letting the team off the hook, or whether like 2 things can be true at once. They have not been great defensively. They've made individual mistakes that have led to really high danger looks. But the goaltending thing, like this predates Skinner and Campbell to me. I did a segment 2 years ago almost. It was February of 22, talking about Edmonton not getting adequate goaltending and that being a real problem for them. And that was, you look at last year's team and the year before, like their playoffs, projected to do very well, certainly a lot better than they are right now. The goaltending it's not to absolve everyone else and just say, well, they need saves, because there's a lot wrong elsewhere. But like if they were even getting average goaltending, this wouldn't be nearly as bad.
True. Like Mike Smith, though, in 21 had a .923 save percentage. You had a .915 in 2022. Like that's for your starter. That's numbers fine, right? He would give away a few pucks
in front of him too.
Yeah. To me, it's like last season, Skinner, decent as a rookie, .913, obviously gets a rookie of the award. Jack Campbell struggled mightily. The defense in front isn't helping him. But this year, like the amount of, because I know you guys track high danger chances, mid chances, and all that sort of thing. Like I know their save percentage isn't great on high danger. And the Suter shot, I know it gets classified as a high danger chance, Mike, but that's a very savable shot. I get that it's high danger, but it went right through him. And it's not Elias Pettersson shooting. It's freaking Suter.
It is. And that's again where you'd like to save. And like, the market there better than me, and you listen to and interact with the players and all that, right? I found it interesting listening to Connor McDavid. He said twice after the game, talking about the good start that they had, and they had a good start, obviously. But then you get behind and you're chasing the game. And it made me think like what he's basically saying is we didn't get saves and now we're losing. Like that's how I interpreted it. And he didn't say it, but that was kind of the vibe I was getting. Or maybe I'm just thinking that way because that's what I think. But the fact that's a fact. The shots were 19-4 and they were losing. And the first one is total fluke. Like that's not on the goalie.
Yeah.
The second one, again, it's not an easy save, but it's the NHL, and some teams get big saves from their goalies consistently, and you need to be able to do it. Like the thing that I go back to when I talk about goaltending, and this is what it was talking about what I did a couple of years ago, and how it and still believe it. If you look at be able to rate as best you can isolated goaltending performance from team defense. Some goalies put up great numbers because the team in front of them is really great and they're good, and that's fine. Other goalies have bad numbers, but they're really good and they play on bad teams. So how do you figure all this out? So I look at goals saved above expected. This factors in the quality as well as how many shots you face. And this is the troubling thing to me for Edmonton. So since the start of last season, how many times and how many games have they had what I would say average or better goals by using metric? Average or better. They've played 93 games since the start of last season. They've had expected or better goaltending in 35 of them. That's 38%. There's two teams that have had less, Calgary and San Jose. When Edmonton gets average or better goaltending in those 35 games, they won 83% of those games. That's the third best win rate of any team in the league. It's pretty clear that when Edmonton gets average or better goaltending, they win a lot. That's because they're good and they score a lot in general, right? They're not getting close to average goaltending and they're not getting it nearly often enough. So I'm a firm believer, like when I kind of zoom out of this thing, that if Edmonton had an average goaltending situation, they would be a really good team. And you'd like to think that you can find average goaltending somewhere, whether it's the guys you have being better or, you know, maybe one shoe dropped with Campbell being put on waivers and there's something else coming.
Mike Kelly joins us from Sport Logic. So, Mike, so 93 games the last 2 years. You said 38 of them, they had average or above average goaltending. Is that right?
35 of them, 38%.
So
yeah.
35 times they had average or above average goaltending. That's it.
Well,
so that means
if you want to, want to say averages, you hit 0 and goals saved above expected or better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That is mind blowing to me. 35 out of 93. So I'm doing the math on it. That's 23. That's 58 games where they had below average goaltending.
Below expected in terms of that equation. Yeah.
Goals saved. So in goals saved above expected or better, correct? 35 times.
Yeah.
Oof, that is. So it leads me to the question: when you look at other goaltenders,
yep,
is it time for Edmonton to look at a goaltending coaching change?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know enough about the situation there internally to say. I don't know. I don't know if it's a goalie coaching thing. I don't know if it's the goalies themselves. You know, Campbell has shown from going back to his time in LA, right through to today, he can go on runs where he is very good. Like he was an all-star in Toronto because of a first half of the season that he had that was exceptional, and then completely fell off in the second half. So he can be good for stretches. That's about what we know of him in his career, but can't piece it together for full seasons or anything more than that. And Skinner, like to your point, I think I agree with you with Skinner last year. I think he was good. I don't think he was great. He wasn't bad. We know that. But he was fine. That's all Edmonton really needs. It was kind of my point, is have a guy who's fine. And he was that. And that hasn't been the case this season among, you know, all the other issues they're fighting with too. So, but yeah, I don't know enough about the day-to-day, the practices and all that to really have an opinion on that.
Okay. No, that's fair. I just wondering if you, when you guys track all your numbers, if there is anything in there that's stylistic, that's leading to the Oilers having way more games with below average expected in saves. So just was curious about that, Mike. One last one for you. When you crunch all your numbers around, is there one team that you think right now is winning with smoke and mirrors and is going to come down to earth?
Well, a little bit of the team that played Edmonton last night, like it, and I don't think smoke and mirrors would be the way to phrase that, but like they're a good team. Prorated right now, they're on pace to win 62 games. They're not going to do that. So, you know, even a Canucks fan would say, yeah, regression will hit to some degree. I think they're a good team. I think they're a playoff team, Vancouver. But they are scoring at a really, really high rate compared to what they're generating. And Demko, who is great, is playing just out of his mind at the same time. So if those things normalize a little bit, you're going to see a bit of a correction there. That would be one that kind of sticks out. The Ducks, they're just winning in crazy ways. That's not really sustainable. But again, I think they're pretty good. Like, they're not the bad Ducks team that we've seen in the past. Like, they are better. How much better, we'll see. Those would be two that off the top of my head kind of stand out as that are they're not bad teams. They're just it's going to come back down to earth a little bit for them.
Mike, great stat, man, on the Oilers. Just get average goaltending, and they should be fine. Hard to argue with that when you look at the results. We appreciate it, my man.
Yeah, no problem. Average when they're playing better. Like, if they're playing the way they're playing now, they need Thatcher to come and put an Oilers jersey on.
Yeah, no, that's fair too. I appreciate it. It's Mike Kelly joining us from Sport Logic. So yeah, right now they're not playing great. So I like how he added that in. So it's not all in the goaltending, but a lot of it is. There's been games where they played okay and then just get meh. Like that second goal last night. I'm sorry, it can't go in. It cannot go in. At some point, you have to make a save. It's not Elias Pettersson shooting. It's Puis Suter. Quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
How do we do it? Well, at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice? Then choose eWell. Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time. Plus winning quality. They only stock the best. And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers. So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit eWell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero gravity treadmills, and pneumatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you because sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I just wanna let it go for tonight. That would be the best therapy for me. Hey,
Well, some of you might need a little calming therapy right now. It is a frustrating time to be an Edmonton Oilers fan. Now, did the Mike Kelly interview make you feel better or worse? Like, just get average goaltending. Hey, Gregor, I have a question. Which goalie really has improved under Schwartz? One comes from Dan. Well, Dan, I guess I would say this. Was Mikko Koskinen an NHL goalie before he came to Edmonton? No. His first year in Edmonton wasn't great. They did some summer stuff with Schwartz. Became okay backup, right? Mike Smith, late in his career, had some pretty good years in Edmonton. Oilers fans would be dying. Remember? And I told all of the Oilers fans for years, everyone's like, Mike Smith's terrible. I'm like, he's 915, he's 923. What the hell do you want? You would be doing cartwheels right now if you had a goalie with a 9. Hell, if you had a goalie with a 900 save percentage, you wish you'd have Koskinen right now. But he's 903. That would be stellar compared to what they're getting. So here's the question I like to ask. I don't know enough about the goalie position. It's easy to want to blame the goalie coach. It's fine. But I'll say this. So if you have a third pairing D-man, and because he doesn't become a second or a first pairing D-man, is the D coach a bad coach? Yes or no? Simple question. Yes or no? There's only so much you can get out of a player. Have these goalies the Oilers have had been elite, right? Mike Smith had a really good year. 923 save percentage one year, 915 the other year. What's wrong with that? You take that. It's pretty good. Right? If you look at them, let's just look at the 21-22 seasons. Okay? We'll go for goaltenders. Look at combined save percentage. Let's get rid of the let's get goalies who at least, and I'll even go low because it's over 2 years. We'll just go 30 games played, right? It's probably even too low. And you look at Mike Smith. Mike Smith, for those 2 years, he had the 7th highest save percentage in the NHL at 919. And many of you are like, oh, the goalie coach is terrible. What? Your goalie had the 7th best save percentage for 2 years. And the goalie coach is terrible. Out of Mike Smith, who, no offense, had never really had years like that before. Stuart Skinner just has the rookie of the year as a goalie. Made the All-Star team at a 913 as a rookie. Now, right now, the goaltending's struggling. But why is it always just on a goalie coach who, let's be honest, a defense coach? Is Dave Manson a terrible coach because he can't get Evan Bouchard to commit to play defense? I guess if you want to argue that, okay, fine. But how do you do that as a coach? You can't play the game. You think Dave Manson's like, hey, Evan, I'd really like you not to be intense in the game, okay? Don't do that. I just want you to shoot Bouch bombs and don't worry about defense. Do you honestly think that's how he's coached? Do you honestly think that's how he's coached? Of course not. A coach can only do so much. The player at the NHL level does the majority of this stuff. Okay? But when I always hear, well, who improved under him? Mike Smith for 2 years had the 7th highest save percentage among starting goaltenders. For 2 years. I think that's pretty good. So if you're only going to say, well, no one's ever good, I just showed you the numbers that he was good. So if you're always going to blame the goalie coach, then don't you have to give him credit then? How can it work that way? Right? How does it work that way? So I have no problem if you want to change the goalie coach. But just remember, the same people calling for the goalie coach were the same people who are like, Mike Smith's terrible. And those people now are like, oh my God, I wish I had Mike Smith. It'd be unbelievable to have Mike Smith right now. Could complete a pass. He'd make a big save. He'd win a fight. He could do a lot of things. So, Gregor, didn't Smith have his own goalie coach? No. He worked with a guy to improve his core strength one summer. Not a guy who works on anything technical. Worked on improving his score strength. Why? Because he had his belly flops per 60 were too high. So he had his strength in his core, so he stopped doing it. And they worked in conjunction with Schwartz on the technical side of it. And then he had the trainer work on the movement to strengthen the muscles. That's what happens. So. Hey, Gregor, imagine defending Schwartz. You're out to lunch from Yeg Buds. The great part about that, see, I love opinions that have nothing added to the conversation, nothing factual to back it up. Hey, this is my opinion. Schwartz sucks. Well, you can have your opinion, but it's hollow because your opinion's only valid to the point you can back it up. I just backed it up with actual data and facts. You can hate Dustin Schwartz. It's totally fine. But if your argument is no one improved under him, I just showed you the improvement. Mikko Koskinen actually improved under Schwartz because he was never an NHL goalie before he came to Edmonton. Those are just facts. That's not an opinion. Don't confuse opinion with facts. I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm giving you the facts. These are Mike Smith's numbers. Fact. It's not a debate. It's a fact. 7th best save percentage. It's just how it goes. I'm not saying Schwartz is great either. If you want to fire the goalie coach, fire the goalie coach. But do you honestly believe a goalie coach is magically going to snap his fingers and Jack Campbell's suddenly going to be consistent? Watch Stuart Skinner play the Puig Suter shot. Do you think a goalie coach is somehow going to change it so the shot beats him right through the chest? Do you think maybe that's a confidence issue? And how can a coach, you can work on all the things you want. You can't play the game. You can't play the game. Right? Like I said, you can fire Dustin Schwartz. I have no problem with it. But when your argument is Devin Dubnyk didn't improve under him, he never coached Devin Dubnyk. Do you know how ridiculously idiotic you look when you bring it? Just shows you're uninformed when you state Devin Dubnyk in the conversation for Dustin Schwartz. Or when people say Cam Talbot. Yeah, go look at Cam Talbot's numbers. Look at his save percentage in Edmonton. Look at his career save percentage. He's played for a lot of different coaches in a lot of different places. He had 2 good years in Edmonton, had a tough other year. Look at his save percentage average. Look at his career save percentage. It's the same. Right? We could argue that goalie coaches, hey, I think there's some who are elite, but like people are like, hey, Gregor, what about Vegas's goalie coach? Well, I don't think Vegas's goalie coach has anything to do with the system that's played in front of them. Right? Look at Vegas's goaltenders in the regular season last year. They played all different goalies, and it didn't really matter who was in goal. Right? Because Vegas has a great system that protects all their goaltenders. Aiden Hill suddenly looks like an all-star. System can help. Mike Kelly said the system in Edmonton is not that bad. They just need better goaltending the last 2 years. The previous 2, they had good goaltending. So was it the goalie coach who signed Dustin? Was it the goalie coach who signed Jack Campbell? No, he has to deal with it. I don't know how much input he had. But I understand frustration, but at least be factual. If you just want to say, I think it's time for a change, I can actually understand that rationale. But the minute you put in incorrect, infactual comments like, no one's improved under him, well, that's actually incorrect. So if you want to say, I just think it's time for a change because they've changed lots of coaches, to me, that actually makes more sense. I'm like, you know what? I can rationalize with that. You're like, maybe it's just time for a different voice. Right? Different voice in the coach's room. Maybe the goalie coach will have a different opinion on something else. That I can actually understand. I can get behind that. I just don't get behind comments that are incorrect and not backed on fact. That's all. 2 very different things. Very different things. So, but what happens if they fire the goalie coach? And then the goalies don't improve. Then what happens? Is it maybe possible that the goalies themselves need to play better? Is that a possibility that you're willing to entertain? Just a thought. 833-401-1440. It's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Gregor. Koskinen was the best international goalie before joining the Oilers, though. Was he, though? He played in a league that wasn't very offensive. I'm not sure he was the best international goalie. Because remember, if he was that good, why would he have stayed over there until he was 31? Right? No offense So, and Koskinen became a serviceable backup. Again, Oiler fans right now would be doing cartwheels to have Mikko Koskinen's numbers as the goalie in Edmonton. Think about that for a second, right? You look at Mikko Koskinen's numbers in Edmonton and say, how good would it be to have those right now? They weren't Vasilevsky numbers, but as Mike Kelly just said, they just need average. That's all they need. Mikko Koskinen in 120 games had a .908 save percentage from 2019 to 2021. Right? 100 games. So let's now look at the NHL. How many goalies played 100 games in that time? Mikko Koskinen had the 19th best save percentage in that time. Better than Sergei Bobrovsky, better than Carter Hart, better than Braden Holtby, better than Jonathan Quick, better than Martin Jones, better than Devin Dubnyk. Tied with Pekka Rinne, 1 percentage point below John Gibson. 0.03 below Frederick Anderson. 0.04 below Carey Price. Over a 4-year span of at least 100 games played. You should be begging for goaltending like that. Begging for it. We'll come back on The Gregor Show.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at FountainTire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
With sport and group events returning, are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
It's time to change the game. Hundreds of boys are waiting for a male mentor like you. And the new Game Changers program at BGC Bigs makes being a mentor easier than ever. All you need to do is show up ready to play. Sports, board games, hands-on projects. The choice is yours and your mentees. Be a game changer in the life of a young person and help set them up for future success. Hurry, the deadline to apply is Monday, November 20th. Learn more at bgcbigs.ca/gamechangers.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Courses this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I remember one year my mom took me school shopping. It was me, my brother, my mom, my pop, and my little sister all hopped in the car. We headed downtown to the Gallery Mall.
3:45. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Lots of text flying in. Gregor, stop bringing rational to the conversation. I just want to see a change. I don't care if the numbers suggest that would be foolish. Dan, you know what? Hey, I appreciate your honesty. I get it. If people want change because you're frustrated, I understand that. But when you suggest statements like, well, no one improved, I just showed you the data that says that's actually false. That's all. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to agree with it. And if you want to counter it, great. But counter it with numbers and data, not just, well, I don't like the guy. You're entitled to say you don't like the guy and you want to change. But then you can't say that no one's ever improved and they never got good goaltending. Because for 2 years, the Oilers had the 7th best save percentage among starters in Mike Smith. At an advanced age, late in his 30s. But yes, he mishandled the puck wrong a few times. God, that's what I remember. Not the .919 save percentage. Imagine if the Oilers had a .919 save percentage right now. Probably 8-2-1. Just saying. Let's get to the NBA report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC units. LegacyHeating.ca. As Paul Sir, former pro player and coach, joins us now. Paul, I want to ask you as a coach. So when you have it, I'm sure you've coached good teams, you've coached bad teams, you coach middle of the road teams. When you coach a good team, I think you can have higher expectations. You probably have higher expectations. And at what point, when in a season as a coach, is it like, okay, you know what? I might have to crack the whip here on some guys, right? Like, how do you find that balance? Because if you never do, that's when bad habits can creep in, right? I think it's hard to do it on a bad team. You can do it, but you're like, well, this guy's not good anyway, so I can whip the donkey all day long. It's not gonna help, right? So how did you manage that as a coach to find when's the right time to maybe come down harder on players when you have a good team or a perceived good team?
It's a great question, and it is a really difficult sort of timing that you really have to go with your instincts on. And you also have to know what motivates players, because some players really respond to coming down hard on them. Other players, it's the exact opposite. So the personality of the players really matters. And the reason I'm smiling is I think of, I never did this with any other player at any other moment, but we had a Serbian player at Concordia named Milos Prijovic, who was an outstanding player. From Serbia, had a great JUCO career down in the States. And we were playing Augustana in a playoff game, and we were playing terrible, and Augustana was playing great. And Milos was just, when he was foggy, he was really foggy. And I said, you know what, Milos, at the end of the first quarter, I looked at him and I said, you know what, Milos, maybe this was just all a mistake. Maybe you would have been better. have been easier for you if you had just stayed and played in Serbia. I think I made a mistake, and I walked away from him. And he had 25 points and 26 rebounds and absolutely tore it up after that, and we won. Afterwards, he said, "Coach, I hated you, but it's exactly what I needed to hear." Other players, that would have just destroyed. So I think you really have to know who your personnel, who's on your team and what they'll respond to. And then you have to, but one thing you can't do, Jason, is you can't let bad playing go on too long without acknowledging it and without addressing it. Because if you do, then it becomes systemic and harder to unravel.
Okay, that's fair. I want to get your thoughts on Wemby. I was able to watch 2 of his games. I actually chuckled on the play when he shut down Scotty Barnes, and then they asked Scotty Barnes about it afterwards. And because literally, Paul, it looked like an adult playing against a kid. And Scotty Barnes is a huge man, right?
Yes.
Like Wemby, he's so big and long that like he literally just was like sorry, and he wasn't able to go anywhere. Like it was stunning and good for the Raptors. We'll get to the comeback in a second, but man, like you've never seen it. Like as Kevin Durant said, like you've never really seen a player like this before.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about generational talents, this is the new Terminator model, and I think that 7'4" with this kind of athleticism, these kind of instincts, and this kind of skill set at 19. Here's the thing, that he is the perfect player for this generation of players. This young man in the 90s, it would have been harder for him because the game was so much dirtier and so much more physical. But now, because of the way they've cleaned the game up and the way they've made sure defenses played a certain way, a player like Wemby can step in now and do what he does and take advantage of all those gifts so well. But it's unlike anything you've seen before, because the guy is 7'4" with the wingspan of 7'11" or something like that. I mean, that's new territory. That's uncharted territory with his agility.
Yeah, it's so unique to see a player. Like he's just so much bigger, but big guys never, and it's still a little odd to see big guys shooting threes, because for decades it was never even a consideration, right? Like it is exciting, especially if you're a big man where you're like, hey man, if I can shoot, then I don't have to just play, in the basket and in the paint. I can actually move around. But you know what? For a young player, like it's not only his shooting, like his ability to pass the ball, Paul, because he's so much taller and he gets up, like guys can't really defend his passes.
They can't, and with his instincts. And I think that's the difference, because when you look at a player of roughly the same size like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a pure post player, a great athlete, a great basketball player with a real specific skill set, where Wemby doesn't have those limitations anymore. Like he literally can define exactly what he wants to do, inside, outside, back to the basket, facing up at the basket, shoot the three, put it on the deck, pull up. Like he really is the total package, and he just happens to be 7'4". So it really is limitless. If he can stay healthy, his potential is limitless. And what he could be as a dominant force in 2, 3, or 4 years is really, really, I mean, you compare him to Holmgren, who's a real nice player for Oklahoma City and is making a great contribution to that. But he's more of a traditional basketball player. Wemby is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And a really good story when you think, of course, because he started with the Stingers, and we'd seen him in the NBA a little bit with the Clippers, but it was more on 10-day contracts. He signs a 2-way deal to Jamario Moon with the Clippers, man. Like, good for him. That's and obviously it's good for the CBL. That shows, you know what, you get some pretty talented young players here.
Well, you sure do. And like you said, good for Xavier Moon, because you could not find, literally, like you say this about a lot of people, but about Xavier Moon, it's the gospel truth. That is the nicest young man I think I've ever met in my life. He would have come back to Edmonton and play last summer if there was any way possible that it made sense, but it just couldn't happen because of all the progress he's made with the Clippers. But to see a young guy like that, who's come from where he's come from, who's persisted in the way he has, get that 2-way deal. And I really think he'll end up on the Clipper roster before the season's over and be playing primarily for the Clippers. I think he's that good. And I think he brings skill that they're going to need as time goes on. Clippers is an interesting story with what's going on there right now with the arrival of Harden, but good for Xavier Moon.
Yeah, I just think it's a real cool story. It's really early on in the NBA season, Paul. But do you have a few storylines that you have been paying attention to that has stood out for you for the first few weeks?
Yeah, I have. Number one, let's talk about the Raptors. You had mentioned about the comeback win. That was a really nice win over San Antonio the other night, and Scotty Barnes was fantastic. The Raptors are not a finished product, but there is some hope there. I think their starting five is quite good. We'll still see if they can figure out how to get the most out of Pascal Siakam in this new configuration. OG Anunoby early looks really, really good, especially defensively. But and Scotty Barnes, we're really starting to see the potential that the Raptors drafted. And I really am excited to see how Dennis Schroeder has come out of the gate for the Raptors. He's done a great job. 8.9 assists a game. He's the player that we hoped he would be. And the way Fred VanVleet is starting in Houston looks like a really good signing and a really good switch at the point guard spot, I believe. I also think there's some hope on the bench with Otto Porter playing better, more like he's capable of. The young guy, Grady Dick, has got a lot of upside, I think. Gary Trent's going to have to be better. Chris Boucher seems to really be struggling right now. So I think roles changing is going to be hard on this team. But, I mean, Scotty Barnes has got to be your guy. And Dennis Schroeder, the play has to go through him. And Pascal Siakam has to find his way in that lineup. So that would be my overview on the Raptors. The only thing I got a little bit of a kick out of was the new coach. And I'm sorry, I keep wanting to remember his name, and I keep forgetting it when I come on with you. But when he came out and said, "Gee, we're just so lucky to have Scotty on our team," I go, "Man, you're 5 or 6 games into the season. I'd really think we'd be really lucky to have Scotty Barnes after we have a first-round win in the playoffs." I thought that was a little too lavish of praise for Scotty at this point, but it's good to see him doing what he's doing. Nuggets are fantastic. I think they're the best in the league. The East is interesting right now with Philadelphia and Boston both only having one loss. Embiid looks like he's ready to go this year again. Milwaukee, good, but I think they're still finding their way. The Western Conference is interesting, though, with Phoenix looking really weak out of the gate. But they've had injuries, and it's a long season. So once they get Bradley Beal back and they get all of their players playing together, I think they're going to be a lot better. Isn't Steph Curry wonderful at his age? Like, I believe he's got 15 more threes than anybody else in this early season already in the league. Just finding a way to keep being relevant. So, but I think one thing early on, Denver is very, very good, even with Jamal Murray kind of in and out of the lineup. But Dallas's fast start too is interesting because if they find that chemistry between Doncic and Kyrie Irving, I think then that might put a lot of us, myself included, that might quiet us down and say that combo will never work.
What about the Grizzlies? They won 51 games last year. They're like the Edmonton Oilers of the NBA. They've got one win so far this year. Seriously, they're 1-6. They won 51 games last year.
I know that's not on anybody's mind in Edmonton right now, but I think the Grizzlies are terrible right now, and I think this may be going a bit too far with what I believe. But when you have a cancerous player like Ja Morant as your guy,
okay,
and he finds ways with his antics to undermine, disrupt, and cause the kind of problems within that franchise, this is what you risk. Is players are going to say, you know what, I really don't want that guy. So if a deal comes up, they're going to go somewhere else, or free agents aren't going to come to your franchise. So you're hanging your hat with a guy who has shown nothing but childish, dangerous irresponsibility so far, and saying that's who we're building our franchise around. I think so far it's an early warning, and it's a long season again. But I don't even think when Ja comes back, you're going to see a team that's going to win 51 games again.
Oh, gosh, no, not with the start they've had. They're going to have to wake up. Obviously, not having him, I think, impacts their team. There's no question, but I didn't think they'd be that bad. They played without him at times last year, and we're much better. So
100%.
They're an interesting team for me to see. Paul, great stuff, man. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, Jason. Thanks.
You bet. That is Paul Sir from former pro player and coach. And, of course, we'll have the basketball show on Sports 1440 coming up. Should be nice. Looking forward to that. Coming up after 4 o'clock, we have another opportunity for you to help your neighbor. Also, Jason Strudwick. And we are going to talk to Struddy about how to play a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3. And we'll get into some of the decisions and how that becomes a decision by some of the players. And last night, we got a few examples. We could pick almost any game this year for the Oilers. Really, you take away the Winnipeg game and the Calgary game. I think there's every other game where you can see massive, just non-NHL-like decisions by players that make you wonder why. And why does it keep happening? So I'll ask Struddy about that coming up in 20 minutes' time. But first, we'll get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. It's a road-ready sales event is on right now. Select tires up to $225 off. Or sorry, $225, not percent, $225 off. Also, you get an extra $50 bonus reduction if you choose any service between now and December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have waived goaltender Jack Campbell for purpose of reassignment. Campbell is 1-4 in the season with a 4.5 goals against average and an .873 save percentage. The Oilers off until Thursday when they'll be in San Jose taking on the Sharks. The Sharks play tonight looking for their first win of the season, hosting Philly. That gets going at 8:30. You've also got the Lightning in Montreal. Hurricanes host the Sabres. Wild travel to New York to take on the Islanders. The Rangers, they'll host the Red Wings. Jets in St. Louis. Flames host the Preds. Kraken taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Avs host the Devils. And the Penguins head to Anaheim to take on the Ducks. According to reports, quarterback Carson Wentz, currently a free agent, is expected to sign with the LA Rams. Wentz appeared in 8 games last season with the Washington Commanders, and Arizona Cardinals coach Jonathan Gannon says quarterback Kyler Murray will make his season debut this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. And 2 games in the AJ this evening, Whitecourt and Camrose. Brooks takes on Grant Prairie. Both those games starting at 7 o'clock. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, it is your next chance to help your neighbor. We'll also ask 5 questions and be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents stop pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round, and you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football, and head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strnd.ca. A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. They've continued developing tools and are excited to announce their newest design, battery-powered nut runners. Core models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know the names? We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease. In the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to your I want to watch you bleed. Welcome to the jungle.
Just after 4 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. These the YouTube comments are humming. The text line, people are fired right up. Guys, I don't agree with everything you say, Gregor. I have to say I love the passion on your show. Thank goodness we have sports radio back. I'd be going nuts. Somehow it's cathartic just to talk about how brutal the Oilers are. That one comes in from Doug. Well, Doug, you know what? Because I think as you listen to the other commenters and texters, phone callers from fans, you realize that you're in this together, right? There's many fans that are just as frustrated as you, who are just as perplexed as you about how the Oilers are this bad. And trust me, it's like franchise start bad. They've tied the worst 11-game start in franchise history at 2-8-1. With the remember when the NHL for 2 years had 84 games? 92, 93, 93, 94. Well, both years, I'm pretty sure it had nothing to do with the 84 games because it was the first 11 games of the season. They started 2-8-1. And they started in different fashions. The one year, they actually won their first 2 games of the year. And then they lost 2, tied 1, and then lost 11 in a row. So after starting 2-0, they went 0-13-1. Painful. That was a year after making the conference final. That was 1992, and the Oilers were a team that still had a lot of guys who, veteran players who knew how to get it done. But and that team actually, even in 92, 93, like when the season started, they had some solid players on the team. Bernie Nichols is a decent point producer. All right. Craig Simpson had won cups. Guy had scored. Like, they had some good players. But, man, they hit the ditch hard to start that year. Then the next season, 93, 94, they were actually 1-8-1. Then won their 11th game, which tied the Oilers' record right now. And actually ended up being 6-8-3. They kind of recovered a bit. Obviously, neither one of those teams made the playoffs, as that was the first of 2 years of a 4-year run when the Oilers missed the playoffs before they got back in 97. But that's it. Even in the decade of darkness, the Oilers never started 2-8-1. Think about that. Like some really bad teams. Like, I don't expect this team to be that bad. I really don't. But something's got to change. Something's got to give. Jack Campbell, if you missed it, of course, he was put on waivers today. He will be reporting to Bakersfield tomorrow. I do not expect any team to claim him. No chance. Got 3 years left on his deal at $5 million AAV. Like, it's not happening. Yeah, I saw somebody say San Jose should claim him. San Jose has a boatload of cap issues and everything else. They're not taking on Jack Campbell. Because, by the way, they wouldn't want to do it because they wouldn't buy out Jack Campbell because if they want, well, not, I guess they could, but if they want to trade, let's say Logan Couture and Thomas Hertl, because they're like, hey, we're going full rebuild, they can only retain salary on one of them for the next 2 years because they already have retained salary on Burns and Carlson, and you're only allowed 3 retained salary contracts on the books at any one time. So that means either they find a team that will take them for all of their salary for the remaining term, or one of them is going to stay there at least 2 more seasons, like this year and the following one. So it's tough sledding right now in San Jose, man. Tough sledding. But you know what? I know it's tough for Oilers fans right now, so let's try to cheer you up. We'll get you a little bit of a boost. Text line is 833-401-1440. You can text in if you want to. Don't do it just yet because you don't know what you can qualify for. It's the Help Your Neighbor contest, courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling, where on Monday, November 20th, we will have a draw. And if we call your name, you are going to win a pair of lower bowl seats, row 17, where the Oilers attack twice on a Friday night in December. Yeah, you might need a beverage or two. We're giving you the tickets. You might need a beverage or two to get through the game, depending. Maybe by then they're out of their funk. We'll see. Also, you will get the Ecobee smart thermostat, courtesy of Legacy Heating. You get it all installed in your home. Makes everything better. Save you on efficiency. It's great. And more importantly, you will then be given the opportunity to gift someone in your circle, friend, coworker, neighbor, sibling, parent, anybody who owns their own home, who does not live in the same home as you, so you can't gift it to your spouse, common law partner, husband, wife. Can't gift it to them. But you can gift it to someone in your circle, as long as they own their own home and live within a 100-kilometer radius of Edmonton. And they will get a brand new, high-efficiency Goodman Energy Star gas furnace installed. Comes with the thermostat, the Honeywell T4 thermostat. Has all the permits and inspection fees covered. They will remove and dispose of your old furnace. Comes with 5-year labor, 10-year parts, and a lifetime heat exchanger warranty. I know some of you asked, guys, what if they leave me the furnace because I want to dump it on my brother's lawn as a joke? Well, I guess you could negotiate that. I guess. We'll see. I'm not sure on the legalities, but you never know. But either way, they're going to take it out. So here's how you can qualify today. Just because, you know what? It's very random. All you have to do, though, is you have to know how to spell this correctly. Okay? That's it. We were talking about the Leahy, and I think many of you know what the Leahy hairstyle is, which is what I've agreed to grow out if the Oilers lose against the San Jose Sharks. God help me if they lose. Like, you want to see someone who will be bitter, and I'll do it for 7 months. Because anybody can, like, I'm not going to be Tom Gazzola and wink out and have my perm for a month. That was soft, Tommy. That was pretty soft. It's good to get the perm, but kind of got rid of it a little too quick. So I will go 7 months with the Leahy. So text in the word Leahy, but you have to spell it correctly. Put your name and the Leahy, 833-401-1440. That is the text line, and then Con Man will pick a random winner. Maybe it'll be you. Good luck. Other news and notes from around the NHL. Of course, Jack Campbell's been placed on waivers. Max Pacioretty spoke and is confident he is going to return, hopefully, from his Achilles tear and get back on the ice soon. So we'll see what happens there. Other teams, the Oilers are floundering because we've had a lot of people texting in. Guys, I don't even want to look at the standings, but how far out of a playoff spot are the Edmonton Oilers right now? Well, if we look at it right now today, they would be 6 points out behind the St. Louis Blues, who currently hold down the second wild card spot. Okay, they are 9 points back of Anaheim, who has the first wild card spot. The Ducks have won 6 in a row. They're on fire. So, well, I know 6 points obviously isn't a lot over a 71-game run, but there's also Calgary, Chicago, Seattle, Minnesota, Nashville, Arizona between Edmonton and St. Louis. So while you're 6 points behind them, you've got all these other teams as well in between. So you just, like the Oilers, as I mentioned, after the loss last night to Vancouver, they are now 18 points back of Vegas. Now, Edmonton has 2 games in hand, so best case scenario, they're 14 back of Vegas. They are currently 14 back of Vancouver with a game in hand. So even if they win that, it's 12. Like, that's a lot of ground to make up. Possible, I guess. But for Vegas, man, I think it's really unlikely they're going to be able to win the division now. I think the Edmonton Oilers, the players might not want to admit it. The organization might not want to admit it, but I think you could look and realistically say that the Oilers now are probably battling more for a wild card spot. Like LA is 11 points up on them. Same games in hand. Like the Oilers went 18-2-1 down the stretch last year. Like an unbelievable run. And that still didn't get them to catch Vegas, who had an 11-point lead on them after 20 games. So I guess we can see where they're after 20. Like maybe Edmonton, you know what, you got 9 games to go here. Maybe suddenly the switch will flip. Like, I'm not holding my breath that it's just suddenly magically, but confidence is a strange beast. Maybe the Oilers get a win over the San Jose Sharks. Maybe you have 4 or 5 players who finally get off the schneid and score a goal. And maybe that gets a little boost of confidence. But, you know, the reason I'm skeptical is after the Oilers played quite well against Calgary. Kulak scored. Desharnais scored. Right? They played well. They didn't give up very much. And you're like, okay, Edmonton could build off this. They had a few days of practice. And then since then, loss. Not very good against Dallas. Anemic against Nashville. And unable to avoid the costly defensive mistake against Vancouver. Rinse, wash, repeat. That's kind of what it's been for the Edmonton Oilers. So does one win over San Jose, like I've said it before, until I see the Oilers, play really 2 good months of hockey, I'm not going to say, okay, I think they're back. But at least to turn things around, they would have to win multiple games in a row and play decent in multiple games before I could say, hey, you know what? I might pick the Oilers to win. Like, even if they beat San Jose, I'm not sure I put them as a favorite against Seattle. And Seattle's not playing very well either. Right? They're 4-6-2. I got 10 points. They're 5 ahead of the Oilers. Oilers have a game in hand. So it's fair to say why some of you are concerned. No question. No question. Cons, who is qualified today to help your neighbor?
Today's qualifier is Cody.
Cody, my man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You?
Good. How are you getting through the slog that is the Oilers' start of the season?
I'd rather not talk about
it. Did you watch the entire game last night?
I tried turning it off, and I couldn't, and I kept watching no matter what.
Oh, okay. So you're like most Oilers fans who are like, I want to shut it off, but you're like, well, maybe there'll be a fight here. Maybe you hold out hope for something. Right? Like what keeps you coming?
Hope. I just want it to be better.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair, man. That's spoken like a pretty diehard fan. I can tell it's painful though. Jack Campbell, do you think he's played his last game as a member of the Oilers?
I hope not. I would like to see him back, but also we need something better. So
yeah. Well said. Well said. Well, Cody, congratulations. You have qualified. So automatically you get to win one of the very unique and classy Sports 1440 hats. So that's one thing. You will now go into the draw for on Monday, November 20th. Be sure to be listening here on Sports 1440. We'll do the draw. And if your name's called, you will get the your choice of a Google Nest or Ecobee Smart Thermostat, courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. You get the pair of tickets on a Friday night, great seats in the lower bowl where the Oilers attack twice for the Oilers home game. And you will then get the opportunity to gift a brand new high-efficiency furnace to someone in your circle. I know you listen to the show lots, like most of our listeners. Have you thought about it? Is there anybody you know who needs a furnace in your circle?
Probably the in-laws would be my guess.
Oh, the in-laws. All right. Well, you have time to do a little research if you want to look to see some. Hey, anybody out there know? Well, because you're in the draw, you'll have a pretty good set. You have a 1 in 20 chance of winning. It's pretty good odds.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. There you go. Yes. Yeah. Anybody who qualifies, it's a 1 in 20 chance. 5%. Hey, man, everybody who enters draws, that's a pretty good chance to win a prize pack worth over 8 Gs just for listening to the show. Big thanks to Legacy Heating and Cooling once again for stepping up for Help Your Neighbor. It's awesome. And like this can be really life-changing. We saw it last year, right? It was, with Kara, it was great. Her and her daughters living in their house, and it was, they had some real issues with insulation. And Steve stepped up and put in some insulation in their house on top of it, which was amazing, but they really needed the new furnace. So it was awesome. So even if you haven't qualified yet, do a little sleuthing. Find out, because if you do qualify and you win, you're going to want to give it to someone who could really use it. That's going to make you smile even more. That's why we call it Help Your Neighbor, because there's nothing better than helping others. 4:20, when we return, Jason Strudwick. We will talk about defense, or a lack thereof, next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The Bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
No project too difficult. No problem too complex for Action Electrical. Edmonton's leading electrical contractor is a family-run business since 1973 and proud to offer complete commercial electrical services of the highest quality. When you need a contractor to design, build, implement, and maintain complex systems or emergency electrical assistance, help is here with the professionals. Book a service call at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Mr. Rooter gets Shakespearean.
To plumb or not to plumb? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the clogs and leaks of outrageous toilets, or to take arms against a sea of faulty flapper valves, and by replacing, end them to flow, perchance to stream. Aye, there's the plum.
For a bard who's 5-starred, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
At Wolf GMC Buick, all Denali's are on sale. Terrain, Acadia, Sierra, Yukon, all Denali's are on sale. Get special 0% financing for 48 months on all remaining Sierra Denali half-tons, because all Denali's are on sale. I'm not kidding. Every in-stock 2023 GMC Denali is on sale. All Denali's are on sale. Hurry into Wolf GMC Buick for the best selection. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy, because all Denali's are on sale.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling.
because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold till the vents stop pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me! Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
If you change your mind, take a chance on the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is there for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, you know what that music means. Time for Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical, family-run business with 50 years in business. And they continue to grow and expand, and now, of course, have commercial and residential solar options for you. And they can help you out. There's all sorts of grant money that you can get from the federal government if you want to make the change now. So if you do, go to actionelectrical.net. Here is Struds On. Are we doing the intro cons or no?
We are, but our music thing goes default to mute for some reason.
Oh,
So
well, there you go.
let's try it again. We'll pretend this never happened.
Okay. It's not working.
It's really not as good as the old system, but here is Struds On.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
So it's the memories. That's what you remember. Memories.
There's a bouquet of enjoyment coming in my mouth there.
But you know, it's like I always say, HK, who cares?
It's time for Struds On.
426. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Jason Strudwick, former NHLer, runner-up in Battle of the Blades, co-host on Got Your Back podcast. Joins us. Struddy, how you doing?
Well, it's been a tough week, buddy. My Giants got pounded. Our franchise quarterback is out for the year. He might not play again. And the Oilers are in a seemingly free fall. They put their goalie on waivers. So pretty high event week for a guy who tries to keep it on the rails.
Well, I don't know if you've ever been on the rails, Struddy. That's what's hilarious about it. The night train is usually off the rails. So I think this is where you would excel and be more comfortable. What'd you make of the Jack Campbell decision?
Man, you know what? When a team is in a slump like this, or in a free fall, you got to do something to maybe shock the team, right? So it's try to give them something, a little something that gets them uncomfortable. I don't think that firing the coach is the right move. A trade is unlikely. So you do something like this that is, he's a respected guy on the team. Hasn't had the time here at the Oilers that he wants. But it's upsetting. Like when a friend and someone that you value in your room is sent to the minors, it really hits home. It's very, it's very hard, and it shakes you up, and it shakes the group up, and hopefully it kind of shakes them and wakes them up a little bit to get them going. Unfortunately for Jack Campbell, he's a casualty.
And I understand why they do it, right? Like, because you either have to find out if Jack Campbell can get his game back or not. And I think it's a lot easier. You played in the American League, you played in the NHL. I think if you're trying to redefine your game, Struds, you probably got a best chance searching for it in the AHL than you do in the NHL. So who knows if he'll get it back? I have no idea. I don't know. And if he does, then maybe he'll come back in a month and he'll help the team. And if not, well, then he probably sails off in the summertime. They buy him out or trade him or what have you, and you move on. My question is this. Calvin Pickard has played very well in the minors. We had Mike Kelly on earlier talking about the Oilers and even just getting average or above average expected goals saved from goaltenders. They've only had 35 games the last 93 where they've even had average in that department, Struds. So Stuart Skinner's your guy. But you're bringing up a guy who's played well. Granted, it's in the American League. Is it a no-brainer to go with Skinner on Thursday, or would you even consider going to Pickard? Because Skinner actually has a worse save percentage right now than Jack Campbell.
Yeah, so let's first talk about Pickard. For him coming up, I don't think he should feel any pressure, right? It's not like he's replacing, an all-star level goaltender that is, out for the season. He's coming up, and he should feel very comfortable to play free and loose because they're the ones that need him, right? He probably didn't think he'd even see an NHL arena all year. So he's getting called up. He should be really excited and motivated to play well, not pressured to play well, but motivated to play well. Now, as far as the next game tomorrow, on Thursday against the Sharks, I would go with Skinner. I think Skinner needs to know that you believe in him, that this is your guy. It feels like an easy game for the Oilers. I know that's dangerous when they're only one spot below you and you're in 31 or whatever they're in. So, but I think you've got to let Skinner know, but you have to play Pickard soon.
Yes.
He's got to get out there because you can't bring him up here and just run Skinner the whole time. Skinner has not earned the net. Last year he did. He hasn't earned it this year. So it's either 1-2 or 2-1 is how I played him. But I like to get Pickard in the game ASAP, so he's not thinking about it. He's not worrying about it. He should come up here, feel free and easy, but they need to play him. It could be a Jordan Binnington story. Like they don't know what's going to happen, but they know what has happened so far this year with this team and the goaltending included.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Like, to me, I think he's got to play one of the first two games. And if I'm looking on paper, clearly the San Jose is the easier game, right? And so I see the argument, well, geez, put Skinner in there. Maybe it gives him some confidence. But I'm like, I don't know, because San Jose is like the worst offensive team. So I don't even know if that's the one I would gauge him against. It's more so, hey, if Pickard's playing well and I put him in there and he plays well, heck, I might play him again. Right? Like, honestly, I think that's where they're at with their goaltending. Like you said, it's not like Skinner's a lock that he just has to get every start.
Yeah, and if you told me that is what's going to happen, that Pickard's going to play Thursday, I'd get it. Like I said, nobody has earned the net. No one has taken and run with it. So I could get that, but they need to play him. This guy cannot come up and not play for the first 6 games. They need to play him. They need him. I say it again, they need him to be able to play because Campbell is going to go down the minors, and your point's well made. It is easier to maybe find your game down there. And I think the biggest thing is you're away from all the attention. Like, people are going to forget about him. He's going to go down there and hopefully he can, do what he needs to do to kind of find his game and straighten it out, whatever needs to be straightened out. But, failing that, there's not a lot of options out there for these guys to be bringing in other goalies. Like, there's now you're down to 3, Skinner, Rodriguez, and Pickard. That's all you got. So you got to get these guys playing because Skinner can't play the next 71 games.
Yeah, Jason Strudwick joined us. So, Strudwick, I have to get your thoughts as a defender. I watched the game last night. Unfortunate on Vinny Desharnais, like, it goes in off his stick. Some people were saying he should have been facing the other way and covering the man. I want to start there. Was Desharnais, was he facing? Because to me, looking away from the puck isn't always the best, or should he have been looking away and just covering the man? What's your thoughts on how he played that?
Yeah, it's a sick feeling. When it went in, I just felt sick for him because every defenseman who's ever played, even Beer League 27, we've tapped in a goal in our own net, and he feels sick, especially when the team needs to win. I would have preferred to see his toes facing up ice. So his toes are facing up ice, then if the puck hits him, there's no chance of him, like, knocking in with his stick. And then he knocks down any pass or going across. I feel it's always dangerous in a passing situation when you are up ice from your stick and your stick is towards the net. That's when it's generally going to go in. So I think he should have been facing toes up and then trying to take away the player's stick beside him. Doesn't mean the puck would have gone off his feet, but it's less likely for it to go off your feet.
Okay. The second goal, like, that to me encapsulates perfectly the Oilers season. Vancouver starts that play from behind their net. They make one outlet pass on the boards and they make one cross pass to Joshua. Then he drops it to Suter. It's 3 passes through 3 zones with no one around them. How is that possible?
Yeah. Okay, so Holloway was right up on the netminder. Holloway is standing right in front of the goalie. He wasn't taking away the forehand side of the defender behind the net. He needs to shade to his right, to the forehand side of the player, so that guy can make a straight pass. Draisaitl was on the other side, anticipating that to be the play, so that D-man could not pass it up that wall either. Instead, the puck goes from behind the net up to the left side, bang. 2 Oilers are beat with one pass. That is a no-no at any level, but definitely in the NHL. You can't have two. When I say beat by one pass, it means they're now behind the puck on one pass, and that can't happen. Dylan Hobby's got a shade to his right, keep this stick in the lane. Now you go up, they're still fine. It's a 3-on-3, but the puck now goes from to the right side to who is it? Dakota, I think it was.
Yeah.
Anyways, gets it. Fogel and Kulak. No talking, no communication at all. They both shade over towards that guy, and that leaves a massive hole behind that where they're supposed to be, which is where the guys are going to score from in the slot. So there's needs to be a communication. Either, Fogel calls off Kulak and Kulak stays in the middle, or vice versa or whatever. But there's no communication there. And then, then the end result is that it's Suter. It's not Brock Besser or Pedersen, and he shoots a shot that is probably stoppable. And so really almost everyone on that play is at fault, which is really incredible because you stop them on a controlled breakout, and less than 10 seconds later, 4 of the 5 skaters and the goalie's at fault for a goal that it goes in the back of your net.
Yeah, it was amazing to me when I watch it. So, and I was watching with my son. I'm like, okay, see, here's the things you don't want to do. You don't, because it's like, yeah, it's a 3-on-3. They shouldn't score. And I'm like, yeah, and they definitely, not only do they score, it's they leave the guy wide open on a 3-on-3. That one was bad. Then you go to the fourth goal, Struddy. It's 3-on-2. 3-2 in the game. It's halfway through the game. There's still 30 minutes left. It's a 1-goal hockey game. Matthias Ekholm, the players have talked about this since they had captain skates, Struddy. We got to be comfortable. You don't always have to look for the next goal. Just be comfortable. Sit back. Draisaitl wins a draw. It's kind of weird because it goes to the top of the circle. Everybody sees what happens. Fogel races for it. He tries to chip it in, hits a body. Now it's in a there's no danger where the puck is at that point of the game. All Evan Bouchard has to do is just retreat. And it's like, it's a 2-on-2. At worst, it's a 3-on-2 with Draisaitl having speed coming back. So it's probably a 3-on-3 maybe. All right. Why Bouchard would even think, because he doesn't even do anything, Struds. He doesn't hit the guy. He just steps up and says, oh, now I've opened up the lane for you to pass it off to the guy, and it's a 2-on-1. And then, probably the most egregious part for me, he back checks and gets to the blue line and then coasts in, and he's a stick length away from Höglander. If he moves his feet, maybe he gets a stick on him. Like, it's unbelievable, that play by Bouchard, and maybe more unbelievable that there was no recourse by the coaching staff. How's that possible, Struds?
Yeah, so cringe-worthy. Like that one, everyone makes mistakes when they're playing, and when that the coach is going to show that on video, you're all over it, right? Your fingerprints, in this case, Bouchard's fingerprints are all over it. So pinching for me is really clear. Number one, do I have a chance to get the puck? If it's less than 50-50, even if it's 50-50, I don't want to go. Because if I go, I'm not going to get the body or the puck. Because on a good pinch, you're getting one or the other, sometimes both. But if you're pinching and you notice on Bouchard there, he steps up. The puck is chipped off the wall, and if I remember correctly, the Canuck players jumps inside him, so he's now holding nothing. He's got a fistful of feathers. Nothing can happen in that situation. So he's got to understand that I can just back off there, right? Not everything has to be a full-on pinch. And, people are going to talk about the backside help and the high guy. I agree with that. But it starts with the D-man. The D-man gets his head up and says, what are my odds of getting this puck? Is this a good time to pinch? Can I get the body or the puck? If you can't, you don't have to pinch. It doesn't matter what that high guy is doing coming back. If you decide to go, you better take quick gander to make sure the guy's there, because there's always a chance to get out. But there was a zero chance of Bouchard getting that puck. 3-2 game, you got to know, let's just stay in the fight. We don't have to win it at that moment. We don't have to win the game in that exact moment.
Yeah, it's stunning. And so at what point do you think the coach, because I'm not one who says, just bench guys all the time, but Rick Tocchet benched JT Miller, a team that's winning, right? We've seen guys across the league getting sat half a period, right? A period. I'm not saying put a guy in a press box. I'm not saying send him to the minors. I'm talking to try to send a message, because it only sends the message for him. I would assume it gets the whole team's attention, especially when it's one of your top 4 defensemen or one of your top 6 forwards. I think benching those guys sends a stronger message than benching their 4th-line winger, which happens almost every second game when you shorten the bench, right? So, how can that not happen at this time, Struddy? And how much of a risk is that for the coach that you do nothing after that play?
Yeah, so well said. Like, benching a fringe player or a really young player is easy because people expect it, right? young players are usually not finished products, and then you got your fringe players that are like, I was a fringe player. It was easy to bench me because we just expected it. It's going to happen. So when it's a top 4 player or top 4 D-men, you need this guy. So you're not going to sit him out for 3 games in a row, but you can deliver a message in a way that makes him understand that the repeated choices you are making are no longer acceptable, right? You're not yelling at him. You're not screaming at him. You're just saying, buddy, this is no longer acceptable. What you're doing is no longer acceptable. So you're going to sit here for a while, and it's embarrassing. And quite honestly, you get really pissed off. Really, and I've been benched before when I was higher up in the lineup, and you're really mad. You are really mad, and it's embarrassing. And everyone on the ice knows. Your teammates know. As soon as they look up, they're like, "Oh man, it's not Bouchard and Eki, it's whoever, Ekholm and Desharnais or whatever." They're like, "Oh, Bouchard's been sat," and then that ripples through the dressing room. I think last night would have probably been a good opportunity to do it, right? To say, "Hey, buddy, let's," and because this is repeated. This is a repeated behavior that we've seen. Right, let's go to the second goal where Fogle over back checks or Kulak. Maybe there's not communication. We've seen some of that, but it hasn't been that repeated. We go back and lay out a bunch of cases where it happened. So you choose for when it's a repeated behavior and you want to change in it. It gets the player's attention, gets the rest of the skaters on your team's attention. And I thought that was a bit of an easy one yesterday. But there's got to be a purpose for it, and make the player understand why, because you've already talked to him about it. It's not a surprise. Like you're just mad that. Whatever, he lost a face-off. Well, there's going to be other situations. It's a repeated behavior you're trying to change.
Yeah, I like that word, repeated behavior, right? Because you don't bench a player off of one play. No chance, right? Guys playing, makes one mistake. No coach would ever, well, I shouldn't say no coach. Most sane coaches would never make that decision. So now, Struds, they got 2 days. They're today and then tomorrow, and then they play San Jose on Thursday. The only team in the league below them, the first team since 1965 to allow 10 goals in consecutive games. They play Philly tonight. Their coach is talking all great about, we're going to play way better, even though they have no system, which is the coach's responsibility in San Jose. But I digress. Any win matters, but is it too unrealistic to think that's a game Edmonton should dominate? The way, and I know that Edmonton's only 31st, but I don't think Edmonton's talent is a 31st place team talent level. I do believe that San Jose's talent is a 32nd place team. You know what I mean? Like Edmonton's, they're not playing well. They're playing deserving of the record. I don't doubt that, but I think their skill overall is better than what their record says. So if Edmonton wins that game 2-1, like, I don't know if you gain anything off that. Like, does Edmonton really have to dominate that game to start gaining any sort of confidence in your eyes?
The only reason the Sharks aren't 36 is because there's not 36 teams in the NHL. Like they are a really, really bad team, but that's what they want, right? So they're getting what they want, and they're trying to get to the bottom. So, but whatever, that's where they're at. But when I look at this game for the Oilers, the outcome's obviously got to be 2 points, but it's the way you win it, like playing the right way, like winning. Even Greg's, let's say they win 5-4 in an exciting shootout, and they give up a bunch of kind of poor goals. That's what they don't need. They need to have a game that is solid against a poor team, right? They need to get their ducks in a row and have their lines steady, not mixing up the lines all the time. Get them going, get them playing the right way, and win the right way. Win the game the right way. So you're right, like 2-1 isn't what I want, but I'd love to see like a 4-0 win where they limit San Jose in shots and chances against. And they spend a lot of time in the offensive zone. The D-men are pinching the proper time, like just all those little details, so they can say, "Hey, let's watch some good video from our game on Thursday, and we'll watch it Friday, and we'll take that into Seattle on Saturday." Because how many positive video sessions have they had? I don't think they've had one. I guess maybe Calgary, but at that time, Calgary's having their own issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the Calgary game is the one game where I thought they did exactly what you just said. They didn't give up very much. They had the puck a lot. I will say this, though. If Edmonton ends up in the offensive zone, Struds, with the puck a whole bunch and doesn't score more than 4 goals, to me, that's a problem. Because right now, their offense, as much as we want to talk about defense, their lack of finish and lack of creating, like I know they had 19 shots last night early on in that game, and they were out skating Vancouver. They're beating them loose pucks. It was great. But look how many shots they had with no traffic in front.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And I think, though, and I agree with you, Greg, like they're not scoring up to their potential. There's way more offense in this group. But I do think that the individuals, that a number of individuals have no confidence in their game right now.
Yeah.
So I think you got to start by, playing the right way, as we saw in the first, 11, 12 minutes of that game, whatever it was. And then you get some chances, then hopefully you build off that and you do it again now against San Jose for hopefully 60. Then some guys that maybe haven't scored, they get on a score sheet, and then you're like, hey, maybe I'm starting to feel it a bit. Then you get into the next game, and maybe some more guys are starting to feel it. Because I don't believe this will just change overnight. It's not going to be like, oh, we put up a 7th spot on San Jose and we're back in. They've got to work at it to keep growing the confidence of this group and get them on track, because they are completely out of sorts. And anytime they run into any kind of adversity, like we saw last night, later in the first period, they just shut down.
Yeah, it's an ugly time, Struddy. Ugly time. They beat San Jose because. And by the way, Struddy, if the Oilers actually manage to lose that game, I've committed to growing the Leahy for 7 months, which God help me.
But I heard you say that. I almost drove off the road. It's probably the greatest thing I've heard in 2023. And it's so close, man. Like I want the Oilers to win that game tomorrow or Thursday, but I'd love to see you looking like Friar Tuck, just coming around a skinny little version of Friar Tuck. It's almost worth it. Not quite, but almost worth it. But no, I can't. But I got to get to 50 before I start, shaving this luscious head of hair I have.
Well, you could just grow out just shave the top part and grow out the sides.
Oh, I don't want to be Friar Tucker. What's the captain? What's Connor? He's got that poster of that guy. Not James Kirk. What's the other guy from the newer Star Trek? Like that haircut. That's what it would look like.
Oh, God. I don't even know. I'm not a Trekkie. I have no idea.
Connor, you watch that show all the time.
It is a captain. I'm not sure exactly which one. Because
Okay.
Kirk is William Shatner, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, not this other guy. I can't think of his name now. But he's also an X-Men. Got a British accent.
Captain
Picard.
Picard?
Yeah.
John Luke. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but John Luke's he's just straight chrome dome though, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's got the side. He's got the sides. I think.
Oh, he does.
I might be wrong.
He's like Captain Stubing. He has the sides going. Oh, I didn't know that.
I know. Connor had the poster in his office.
Yeah, he's got a little bit. He's got a little bit on the side.
Oh, okay. I like Friar Tuck though. That's a good one. It's the Leahys though. Most people know what the Leahy is, so it's nice. God, if I will hate life for 7 months, like no joke, if it happens. So it's
a lot of toque time, buddy. A lot of toque time.
I just realized, you know what's the worst part, Struddy, is Thursday is actually my wife's birthday. Well, thankfully, I'll have most of the gifts done before, but God, that could be a tough decision because I'm not going to tell her until it happens because if they lose.
Doesn't know?
No. I'm confident they're going to win. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with the repercussions after the fact.
Oh, man. I wish I would have won last night, so this could have been a little bit different. My God, could you imagine? That would be
Oh, yeah. No, I think if the Oilers had won last night, more people might be rooting for it, which is, that's not very, I would question their fandom if they're rooting for a loss just so I can have bad hair look for 7 months. I question that.
A bad hair look, yeah. It would look bad on it.
Oh God, it'd be terrible. So, but it's pretty lush though in the back. That's the only one thing. It'd be very full in the back and the sides, but nowhere
You better
else.
grow a facial beard then. If it happens, you better grow a beard.
I have a beard going right now. It's great. I actually trimmed it the other day. It's looking good. I like the beard. So, but I wouldn't like the top. I'll tell you that. So they better win. God, that would be awful.
Yeah.
Struddy, have yourself a wonderful Tuesday. We'll talk to you next week.
See you guys.
That's Jason Friar Tuck, Strudwick. That's a good visual. I like that one. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical is expanding throughout Alberta. With the recent acquisition of Big Hill Electrical Services in Cochrane, Action Electrical is the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. What does this mean for Action Electrical and Big Hill Electrical Services? It means that they are able to support their clientele all over Alberta with the same high level of professionalism and integrity. From conception to completion and beyond, throughout Alberta, contact
The professionals
at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Order the juice, get the points. Now at Booster Juice, it's rewarding to be loyal. Introducing the Booster Rewards app, the reward program to give you a boost. Order on the app and enjoy 1 berry point for every $1 you spend. Redeem it for tasty Booster Juice treats, like your favorite smoothie, a booster ball, grilled fresh wraps and paninis, and cool Booster Juice merch. And with the Booster Rewards app, the more you order, the more you enjoy. Download the Booster Rewards app today. Order, earn, enjoy.
If you have mobility issues, a residential elevator can allow you to enjoy your home for longer, but finding the right elevator or lift can be daunting. RAM Elevators and Lifts can get you started with 3 simple questions. What kind of space are you installing the elevator in? How far does it need to travel? And are you interested solely in function, or is the look of your lift important? Make your home more accessible with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
Winter weather is hard on your vehicle. Help keep it in top shape with Pennzoil Ultra Motor Oil from Jiffy Lube. Oil changes on your schedule and 25 bonus air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Andy Akel at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Commercial breaks might not seem as important as the game, just something people want to skip. But when it comes to your business, they're a massive part of your game plan. Here at Sports 1440, we have something called Connected Television, and it's the perfect play for advertisers. With Connected TV, your ad reaches the people you want it to, and it can't be skipped, so you have the viewer's attention for the full length of your ad. All with Connected Television. Contact us at sports1440.ca.
It's time to change the game. Hundreds of boys are waiting for a male mentor like you. And the new Game Changers program at BGC Bigs makes being a mentor easier than ever. All you need to do is show up ready to play. Sports, board games, hands-on projects. The choice is yours and your mentees. Be a game changer in the life of a young person and help set them up for future success. Hurry, the deadline to apply is Monday, November 20th. Learn more at bgcbigs.ca/gamechangers.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Roger Weirton, his team at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management, helping business owners and professionals build, protect, and enjoy their wealth. Earn more now and call Roger and his team at 988-4119.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Left your mark on me. I won't show high love and emotion endlessly. Cause you're a good girl and you know it. You act so different around me. Cause you're a good girl and you know it. I know exactly who you could.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you on a bloated Tuesday afternoon, The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As the text line humming along, people are fired up. I love it. Love it. Everybody communicating. Lots of you putting your names on it. We got a lot of first-time texters, so the con man is busy. He's got blisters on his fingers, I think, today from putting in all the new names. So that's great. We always welcome new contributors to the show. It's fantastic. Keep it going. Also on Orders Nation YouTube, Consman's firing them up there too as well. I love it. So if you want to get involved, you can at either place. 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. It is time now for 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And hey, you can skip the stress. No one likes stress. We'll skip the stress of Black Friday and shop early at The Brick right now. How about this? A mattress is starting at only $149. Pillows for as low as $12. And you can get next day mattress delivery right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Gregor, what do you think the plan is for the Oilers goaltending going forward in the remainder of the season? And when/if do we see Jack Campbell back in an Oilers uniform?
Honestly, buddy, I don't know what the plan is. And I'm not sure the organization knows at this point. You know what? I think the Jack Campbell move was done, as Struddy pointed out. Jack Campbell goes down and impacts the rest of the group too. They feel like, oh man, we kind of let that guy down. Sure, he hasn't played well. We all know that. But he actually has a higher save percentage this year than Stuart Skinner. So, and I know that, but you can look at all the underlying numbers as well. Neither goalie's played great. The defense in front of them hasn't been good either. So they feel responsible, I'm sure. So maybe that gets their attention. And maybe it allows Jack Campbell to go down to the minors and, find some confidence, find a groove. I don't know if he'll ever do it again. Honestly, I can't say that. I don't know. Goaltenders from year to year, man, you never know. So, look at Aiden Hill. He's a Stanley Cup champion. Imagine this time last year, someone said, hey, Aiden Hill's going to backstop Vegas to a cup. You'd be like, what are you talking about? Right? So, honestly, I don't know. I have no idea what their plan is. I think they're just right now hoping somebody, and honestly, I don't think they care. If Calvin Picker comes in and plays well, then Calvin Picker can run for a while. There should be no emotional loyalty to any goaltender right now. Just whoever plays best can play.
Yeah, I'm with you. Interested to see how it goes and how, Stuart Skinner takes this. Maybe, maybe there's a little more pressure or maybe less pressure. Thinking that, I'm the guy here. We'll see. I'm very intrigued by it. I think we'll see Jack Campbell up. I'm going to say in the new year. I think they'll give him some time to find his confidence, but new year at the latest before we see him back up here. Question number 2, with this move being done and, the struggles continuing, do you foresee Ken Holland making any moves in the near future? And if so, just how difficult do you think it would be with the cap and all that sort of thing?
Well, yeah, it's difficult for sure. But so what? That's your job as a GM. You got to make moves. What are you going to wait till game 20? No, he should be working the phones, looking at all options right now. No question in my mind. So, you know what? Now, there's not a lot of goalies that are able to be traded, but you never know when guys are there. So I think as a GM's job, when your team's struggling, and trust me, the other GMs, hey, Ken, they're looking now to buy low, right? Mm-hmm. And see if maybe, Holland's desperate and will make, a Hail Mary trade. So I'm sure some guys are reaching out to him, but you have to as a GM. You're not doing your job right now if you're not looking at every option and understanding what has to happen for your team. Maybe you're looking, we talk about, whether it's a head coach, assistant coach, goalie coach, any move at this point has to be something they consider.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, something's going wrong. It'd be nice if there was an obvious move that they could make, but obviously with the salary cap and other teams around the NHL being in similar situations, it'll be tough to do. We'll see if it gets happening and what shakes out. Totally unrelated to the Oilers here, Gregor. Who do you think is the best free agent coach out there?
Well, see, it's funny because I look at it and say, why does the I don't think, I'll say this, I don't think the best coach available is a free agent. I think it's probably, there's lots of good coaches that have yet to be given opportunities who are probably coaching the American League right now. I know there's quite a few of them. You can go down the list on lots of different teams. Right. Yes, Gerard Gallant has more NHL experience, but but he's also lasted very short period of time in multiple places. So why? Well, why is the reason for that? Right now, people will say, "Well, Vegas is ruthless." Okay, Vegas is ruthless, but they also won. So I don't know if just because he's the guy, like Todd Nelson. Todd Nelson's had a great track record of winning in a lot of places, right? Why wouldn't he be an option?
Yeah, I mean, Gallant was the one that came to mind for me. Obviously, He's had success with teams quickly, but he is also being paid to hang out, right, by the New York Rangers. He's still paid for a couple more years, so maybe he's not interested in returning, or maybe there is a team that would like to take a shot with him and see. But I'm with you. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We're seeing these old coaches kind of be recycled in the NHL and the younger guys, or maybe guys working in the AHL, not getting their opportunities. So I would agree with you. I think the best coach is probably under contract, but obviously not available. So for free agents, I'm going to go with Gerard Gallant. I'd like to see him back behind the bench somewhere at some point. Question number 4 for you. We're at the midpoint of the NFL season. Who would be your league MVP right now?
Ooh, that's a good question. I look at some, and I just sat there and said, "Don't take the Captain Obvious one." So I'm trying to avoid, some of the Captain Obvious ones. But obviously Patrick Mahomes has had an unreal season, and I'm going. Everybody always votes for the quarterback. I'm not saying it's right, but it's a pretty important position. So it's hard to go, with him. I mean, not with him, but if I was going to say right now, the biggest wild card guy to watch out for is CJ Stroud. Look at his numbers. He's got 14 touchdowns and 1 interception, Cons.
Yeah.
As a rookie. Guys like Josh Allen has 9. Pat Mahomes has 8. And these guys are really good quarterbacks. CJ Stroud's got 14 touchdowns. I know he just had 5 last game, but I'm just telling you, looking at that team's record and everything, if we're going and I know that it's supposed to be who the best player is, but look at his numbers. He's only about 300 passing yards, 200 passing yards behind Mahomes. He's not. Don't sleep on him. That's my not obvious selection.
Yeah, I mean, if it was best player award and you're looking at other positions, I think Tyreek Hill would have a very strong argument. 8 touchdowns, over 1,000 receiving yards. AJ Brown as well with the Philadelphia Eagles and what he's been able to do. The obvious, like you said, Mahomes. I really like what Lamar Jackson has done with the Baltimore Ravens. They have the same record as the Chiefs, 7-2, and he's been very efficient. He's so crucial to what they do, obviously, in the passing game, the quarterback, but also in the run game when he can run those options and get their, their stable of running backs going. So I'd say Lamar Jackson would be maybe a bit of a long shot, but I kind of like that one as well. Final question for you, Gregor. Today, former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell celebrates his birthday. He was the author of the book Lone Survivor, which was eventually turned into a movie starring Mark Wahlberg. Do you have a favorite war movie?
Oh, man, there are so many good ones. I still probably have to go with Saving Private Ryan. I thought that was I love that movie. Right? I'm not saying it's the best war movie, but it's my favorite. If that makes sense. I thought it was very, very close to one of the best. But that one would be there. And then, of course, The Dirty Dozen, simply because my dad introduced me to that, and I watched that movie lots with my old man. So when I see that movie, it reminds me of him. So those would be my top 2.
Yeah, I'm similar to you, and I don't think the one I'm going to say is at the level of Saving Private Ryan, but I really enjoyed Enemy at the Gates, the story of the sniper Vitaly Zaitsev. I thought that was a good one. And then way off the radar, because we always talk about war movies being serious, but one of my favorite movies, and it's so stupid, Tropic Thunder. When they're filming the war movie with Ben Stiller and Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black. It's a great cast. Maybe it doesn't hold up to today's standards, but one of my favorite stupid movies.
Okay. Now, hey guys, if you're looking for a war movie that's very unorthodox, check out Come and See. Let's Come and See. I have to look that one up. Come and See. All right, here it is. It's a harrowing odyssey through the worst that humanity is capable of, directed by Elim Klimov. Synopsis is basically the invasion of a village in Belarus, and then you have to escape into the woods. Has anyone else? Never even heard of that. But I like a good war movie, man. It's got like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. They're pretty harsh critics too. So, all right.
I don't want to say it, Gregor, but it seems to be available for free online.
Okay. We're getting a lot of votes for Narvik, not Maverick, Narvik, which just came out, right? That's the in Norway, right? I've heard about it. I haven't seen it. I've seen it online a lot. So Many of you are suggesting that one. All right. I love war movies, man. Like there's so many good ones that you could go back through in your time that I've watched that I quite like. Black Hawk Down, I thought was good. I don't know, Saving Private Ryan, I don't know. God, like what was the one with Sean Penn is in it, Michael J. Fox. Gosh, like an 80s one.
Casualties of War.
Yes, yes. That was a good one. So a few others. I'm trying to think. Hacksaw Ridge. What else? Trying to think of oh man. Oh, Charlie Sheen. I was young. Platoon? Yeah. That's another classic from way back. I'm not, just what you kind of remember. So I'm sure there's lots more coming in on the text line. Hey, Gregor, is Rambo a war movie? I don't think so.
No, because he is a soldier, but it's not a war movie. No,
I wouldn't deem it as a war. Like I would deem it as a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely,
but not a war movie. When we come back, let's get to Mark Spector after Sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton Kubota. And I know you don't want to think about it, but eventually it's coming. So plan ahead. They got heavy duty, great snow removal equipment and all sorts of accessories to lower your stress for snow removal. EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And the Edmonton Oilers making some news today. Waiting goaltender Jack Campbell for the purpose of reassignment. Campbell was 1-4 on the season with a 4.5 goals against average and an .873 save percentage this season. On the ice tonight, you've got 10 games, a couple just about to get going. Canadians, Lightning, Sabres, Hurricanes. At 5:30, the Wild in New York taking on the Islanders. You also have the Rangers hosting the Red Wings. Then the Jets are in St. Louis. Flames host the Preds. Kraken take on the Coyotes. Avs host the Devils. Penguins in Anaheim. And the Sharks looking to pick up their first win of the season. They'll host Philly. Puck drop at 8:30. According to reports, free agent quarterback Carson Wentz will sign with the Los Angeles Rams. Wentz appeared in 8 games last season with the Commanders, and the Arizona Cardinals announcing today that Kyler Murray will make his season debut this Sunday when they take on the Atlanta Falcons. 2 games in the AJ, Whitecourt and Camrose, and Grand Prairie will host Brooks. Both those games get going at 7. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
This is a commercial for Corporate Business Solutions.
Corporate Business Solutions, aka CBS. That's also known as CBS.
As I was saying, Corporate Business Solutions empowers any business to become more efficient and profitable with office machine technology that really works.
That's why they're the #1 Konica Minolta authorized dealer in all of Western Canada.
Well, why don't you just read the next line?
Sure. Corporate Business Solutions. Local service, local support, local always.
Visit cbsca.com.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sports book, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Thinking about solar power? Action Electrical wants to eliminate your entire home or business power bill and keep more cash in your pocket. With effective paybacks in 5 to 9 years, give solar a chance with Action and put your lazy roof to work. Alberta is the second highest province for the amount of full sunlight hours, and with system life exceeding 25 years, solar power is like a McDavid draft pick. Still have questions about solar power? Contact the professionals at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Our car Cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
I love the colorful clothes.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word 40 Tuesday at the start of each order at papajohns.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. Good vibrations. She's giving me she's somehow close now. Softly smile, I know she must be kind.
We roll through Sports 1440. Oilers Nation YouTube, how are you? It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get $18 million up for grabs tonight in Lotto Max. Also, remember now when you try things out, NHL, NBA, they got all NFL, of course, CFL playoffs coming up, the East and West finals this weekend. All sorts of boost bets you can make, player props. They have it all at PlayAlberta.ca. Gregor Halley with you. And now we get to Mark Spector, our regular guest at this time, brought to you by GS Construction. Family-owned business coming up on 50 years. And you know what? They're hiring. If you're looking for a new gig right now, work for a great company, great benefits, great culture, go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. When their owner's a former captain, he knows the thing a bit too about the importance of teamwork. That's what they do at GS Construction. Mark Spector joins us now from Vancouver, where I'm guessing Canuck fans are giddy with the glee, while the Edmonton Oilers fans are just like, oh my goodness, what is happening? Last night, a barrage for the first 12 minutes, and then they find themselves going from 1-0 down 3-1 in a span of 3 minutes and 22 seconds, Spec, with an unlucky goal in the first one, an own goal, an absolutely horrific goal that encapsulates everything that has gone wrong with the Oilers this season on goal number 2. Goal number 4, I know you talked about it. You asked the coach about the fact that there's really no discipline there after 2 egregious mistakes by a defenseman who's in your top 4. Like, man, not a lot going right for the Oilers right now.
No, on every level, my friend. Every level. Starts with goaltending, which is not good enough at any point in time. We had predicted upon Jack Campbell's last start that we wouldn't see him for a long time and in the Oilers net, and that turns out to be true. Skinner's simply not good enough. You're right. The word encapsulate, I would use the word metaphor. That second goal is a metaphor for the Oilers season. You can't play better than they played in the first 11 minutes. You can't start stronger. You can't press harder. Demko held his team in. The shots are 19-2. You're leading 1-0. The shots are 19-4. You're down 2-1. And the Oilers bench looks up at the scoreboard, man, and they see those numbers, and I could hear the sag from the press box, pal. Like, they just sagged, and they fought back. Bouchard does his act in the second period. The coach doesn't even sit him down for a second, which we can talk about. I like to talk about. And it's another loss, man. 6-2. 6-2.
Oh, yeah. And Spec, the other thing, and you know what? When things are going wrong, I've heard lots of players talk about it. Like you got to fight your way out of it. You got to battle. JT Miller's, getting after with McDavid, who's clearly banged up with something. I think he's got a hand or wrist injury. Just look at how he stick handles the puck right now. Or misses passes that he never makes or misses, I should say. But you know what? They go down 5-2. There's 10 minutes left. We all know the new rule in the NHL. Like there is no emotion at that point. Like they're playing Vancouver. They're not a team fraught with a bunch of huge guys that you should be intimidated by. And I'm not talking just Nurse and Desharnais and Kane. I'm talking the entire team. Just show a little bit of bite and fight. And I saw none of it.
We're old, man. We're old, okay? We expect that.
But I see it in other teams, though. That's the difference, though. I see other teams still doing it.
Do you see it in the NHL? Because I don't see it in the NHL.
I've seen, look at Ottawa's done it a few times. Tampa Bay has guys that do it. Vegas has done it. Like, look at the preseason. Mark Stone took a hit he didn't like, and they freaked out in the preseason.
Yep. So, I mean, to be honest, your best player had as much bite as anyone. McDavid got into it with Diest and then Miller, and he didn't give any quarter. He stood in there and he slugged it out with Miller a little bit. Hyman, who's not a fighter, knows, hey, the guy's going after McDavid. He jumped in there and he took a fight. Good for Hyman, right? Take that all day long. And then now Connor McDavid says he just ran into Diest, but from where I was sitting, he saw a free shot at the kid and drilled him and took the 2-minute penalty. I love that, right? I love that. So, yeah, okay. Where's Nurse? Where's Desharnais? Where's all the guys that are tough? I'm not calling Kane out. He's been the toughest.
Well, I'm not even saying it. I said Spec. It doesn't have to be the tough guys because Vancouver has a team that's not tough. You could have had anybody.
Where are the guys? Sure, you could ask that question. I guess I'd just say to you that I've grown past that. I've been asking for it myself for 10 years, and it ain't there ever for almost anybody. I just think the game's not played that way anymore, Jay.
Yeah, well, I see it at times, though. And funny enough, like I see it from the teams who win.
Imagine that.
Nathan McKinnon freaks out about once every 20 or 30 games, right? Boston all the time would do it. So, and if they weren't, and they would initiate lots by cheap shots too. So there's different ways to do it.
Do you need a head coach that instills that in his team, Jay?
I don't know if hey, we saw it, Sheldon Keefe call out his team for not liking their response to Brad Marchand. So I think the coach can at least bring it to your attention. Yes, 100%. But right now, Spec, and I loved your question. Like Jay Woodcroft, well, he's talked about the word standard for like a month and a half, right? What is the Oilers standard? Because if there is a standard, it must be incredibly low because you don't see anybody of significance. It's easy to bench Adam Ernie, right? It's easy to bench Derek Ryan. No offense to those guys, Vincent Desharnais and Philip Broberg, right? Like that doesn't mean anything to me. The guys who are playing all the time, if they're not playing up to the standard, and I'm not saying bench a guy for a game, Spec, hell, maybe not even a period, but there was 9 minutes left in the second. All you have to do is just not call his name for 4 shifts. Message is pretty clear.
Yeah, Bouchard didn't miss a shift, and I was watching for it. I had the binoculars on the bench.
Yeah.
And I was watching him get ready for the next shift, and I was watching and waiting to see. You know, that was an egregious error that he made, 2 of them. He pinched when he shouldn't have pinched. In fact, there's 3 of them. If you watch the draw, and I talked to a head coach today, a long-time head coach, he told me this. He said, watch the draw. All 3 of the Oilers forwards go forward off the draw. That means the defenseman's supposed to say, okay, everybody went forward. I got to be defensive-minded here. I got to be ready to go back. Well, Bouchard missed that read. Then he went forward on a pinch he had no chance of getting. Then he didn't hustle hard enough back, and his guy scored the goal. And then he didn't miss a shift. So, yeah, I said to Jay, and I'll say it to you right now, from now on, the word accountability, when I hear it coming from that coach, doesn't mean a thing to me. I don't see any accountability. He said to the answer to the question, to his credit, he said, hey, now I'm down a goal. I need offense. I can't bench my most offensive guy. Well, that doesn't work at all, right?
No.
That doesn't work at all.
And
that's flawed logic.
And one other thing, whisper to him when because he said it lots that the Oilers are the only team that's played 5 series the last 2 years. That's false. Florida played 6. So just
okay.
That, right. So,
anyway.
Small thing, but I just, to me, the frustration, like players, like we saw Brady Tkachuk get into it with Chychrun and they give it back and forth and then they're fine. And that's how most teams are. And like maybe it all happens behind closed doors, Spec, but my goodness, when there's an egregious error made by the Oilers, you never see, and I'm at the rink all the time like you are. You're obviously on the road more. I don't ever see a guy on the bench giving it to someone else to say that's unacceptable. Like the players don't hold each other accountable.
Well, I asked Connor McDavid after the game what happens, and he said to me, he says, I think I'll paraphrase him, but he basically said, we're not calling guys out in front of the media and the fans, but we're holding each other accountable in here. I can't say that he's not wrong because I'm not in the room and it's a private thing. I can say the coach isn't calling guys accountable, holding guys accountable, because we can see them hopping over the boards for their next shift. So I'm not going to tell you Connor McDavid's not telling me the truth because I don't know the answer to it. But I'll tell you right now, the coach isn't holding them to account. How many times has Bouchard made that a version of that mistake this year, Jay? In 11 games, how many? Maybe 7 times, right?
Maybe.
How many goals has he cost through inattentive, poor reads? 6, 7 goals this year?
Yeah, you could be right. Well,
yeah.
It's
hasn't missed a shift, Jay. Hasn't missed a shift.
Yeah. No, it's valid. Mr. Pickard is coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
For Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
When do you start him? Because you got it's funny. The goalie that you're keeping has a lower percentage than the guy you're putting on waivers. And I'm not saying I disagree with the decision, right? I agree with the decision. I think it's the right decision. You have to do it. But as Struddy said, and I'll use his term, Skinner hasn't earned the net. So when do you think Pickard plays?
That's great. He hasn't earned the net. He hasn't earned the net. Hey, I would say to you that he's familiar with the San Jose arena. He's played in there a whole bunch as a member of the Bakersfield Condors. So I'm playing a team. If I can't play that guy against San Jose, who can I play him against? Right?
Fair point. Yeah.
If I'm playing him, I'm going to run him into San Jose, and let's see what we do from there.
It might get your team's attention too, right? But it also, I think it gets the attention of the goaltender that, hey, like Stuart Skinner, that second goal, ideally you don't want the guy shooting from there. Totally fair. But it's Suter, and the shot went right through him. Yeah. Like that's a savable shot from where, it wasn't top corner, it wasn't perfectly placed. It was basically right at just the chest, inside arm, and that's a save you should make.
Well, and I think the worst thing is that Thatcher Demko at the other end had made at least 5 saves on far more difficult chances than that one.
Yeah.
So your bench goes, oh my goodness, we're trying to score on this guy on break like release is drilling pucks home from 20 feet on our goalie going under his arm. Like, how are we supposed to win a hockey game? It was the most deflating goal of the season for that Oilers bench. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That was a tough one, Spec. So do you know what the Oilers doing? Is today a day off? Are they in Vancouver? They go to San Jose? What are they doing?
No, they're in Vancouver today. It was a scheduled day off. And folks, these are days off, a schedule that gets made like 2 months ago, right? Before the season started, this was a day off. Tonight they're having their rookie party. This is the night they're going out for dinner. The rookies are happy because they're paying in Canadian dollars, not American dollars. And they will practice tomorrow, I believe, at UBC at 11 o'clock. And then they will fly after that to San Jose. I assume that Jack Campbell will fly with them to San Jose and make his way to Bakersfield after that.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Do the Oilers even have a rookie?
Oh, is Holloway still a rookie?
No, he played 55 games last year. He wouldn't be considered a rookie.
Oh, okay. Broberg's not here.
Broberg's not here. Raphael Lavoie, I guess, and James Hamlin would be considered. The guys that played 2 in 1 game. That would be
they call Hamlin up just in time to pay for the rookie dinner.
Oh, man.
He's going to lose money on this trip.
Something tells me the captain might be covering that one. So
I would think that other guys
wrong, but we'll see. Hey, kid, you've got no NHL paycheck yet, but you're paying for dinner tonight.
And I'm ordering a cigar and a scotch.
That'll be tough. Spec, have a good one. Enjoy Van City and San Jose. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Jake.
That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Now, when we come back, DVD will join us. So we got lots more text line, lots of great suggestions. Thank you. Got some new war movies I haven't seen. I love it. So we'll get to all that. Lots of you say, guys, I've seen lots of teammates do it on the bench. You're right. I don't ever see the Oilers do it. Seems odd. And I think that's fair, right? It's an emotional game. Guys get fired up. I would never be one with two teammates get after each other. I don't think that's a big deal. Like, we've seen teammates get after in practice, stick swing here or there, slash, whack, even some fights way back in the day, even some scuffles now. It's a competitive game, man. It's high emotion. You should be annoyed. The Oilers have tied a franchise record worst start ever. The decade of darkness never started 2-8-1. Think about that. Never started 2-8-1 in the decade of darkness. We're returning the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
Cars cost less than Wetaskiwin.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Every sport has one, a shadow player. One player who makes another player their focus on every play. Well, here at Sports 1440, we do something similar called programmatic advertising or targeted display, where your ads become a focal point of people you want interested. We're the savvy vets in radio advertising, but we now know just as much about digital campaigns. Let us set up targeted display advertising for your business. Targeted display ads. Contact us at sports1440.ca.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. UL gives you more than premium quality electrical products. Are you ready to elevate your projects? Contact UL to see how they can partner with you for success. EWEL.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, live in the EWell studio where the worlds of electricity and sports collide. Stay plugged in as we power up the rest of your day with the latest sports analysis right here at Sports 1440 in the EWEL studios. Nice. Like it. People are humming along. So we'll get to DVD momentarily. Some early games in the National Hockey League. And games, I guess, like I know it's crazy to say, Oilers fans, it's only 11 games in if you're thinking about scoreboard watching, but geez, you don't want the Oilers to fall too far behind teams. The Ducks, who are surging right now, winners of 6 in a row, are taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Calgary Flames hosting the Nashville Predators. Other teams that I think the Oilers might be competing for playoff spots with, the Kraken, they're in Arizona. Heck, the Coyotes got 11 points. The Blues hosting the Jets. There's some other teams to be looking at. So the Oilers got to take care of their own business. Make no mistake about it. They got to get some wins, but they probably wouldn't be opposed to having a few other teams hit the skids themselves a little bit, or just kind of stay in neutral, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Because eventually the Oilers got to get on a little bit of a tear here. That's Captain Obvious stuff, we know, but it's got to happen. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. And hey, you know what? Maybe I just want to go to a game. I want to watch a few wins. Well, pretty good chance you can do that. Get down to the Grant Fuhr Arena in Spruce Grove. They'll be home on Friday, taking on Whitecourt. And then Saturday night, folks, the old crosstown rival. It's been around forever. It's in Sherwood Park, the Saints and the Crusaders. That'll be a heck of a game on Saturday night. So check that one out. It's awesome. Get all your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca for Friday night's home game against Whitecourt. This is Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Of course, he's the Western Bureau reporter now. He covers not only the Oilers, but also the Flames and the Jets and the Vancouver Canucks. And you've got, obviously, the Canucks at the very top. Winnipeg's having a decent start. Edmonton and Calgary are near the bottom. So, DVD, no shortage of stories for you. You got the Canucks rolling. You got the Flames and Oilers struggling. The Jets kind of, they're doing all right. They're in the playoff hunt right now, I guess. So, let's start in Vancouver. When you reach out and you talk to people there about the Canucks, some people will say, wow, their underlying numbers. Like, look, they got outshot 19-2. Their goalie play is great, and then they take over. Well, I wouldn't even say they took over. They just made a few simple passes, and the Oilers basically fell apart, right? Like, last night, there's 2 or 3 goals where the Oilers just gift to the Vancouver Canucks. It's stunning to me that still happens so frequently.
Yeah, it does. You can almost see it coming, though, when the Oilers had 19 shots. And they only had 1 goal, and thought, well, Vancouver's only a shot, from getting right back in this game. And how often have we seen that? We see that all the time with this hockey team. Is like they're dominant on one end, but they're only a shot away from being even. And that's what we saw. But that kind of shows you what goaltending will do for you. It keeps you in the game, and just that's what it does. And I think Vancouver got it last night. They're getting it this year. But I think there's a lot of things going well for them. They're playing in the mold of their head coach, Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet came in last year, and I don't know if you remember this, Jason, 2 games after he took over, he says, we're soft. Yeah. We're a soft team. We got to be a lot tougher than that. And they developed that mentality. They developed that tougher mentality to play against. And there are times when we've seen that they're, Thatcher Demko has to take over and keep them in games. But once they do that, once they kind of found their skating legs, I thought they were obviously the better team. They were the better team through the second and then in the third period. But they have a lot of talent on that team. You look at the season Elias Pettersson's having. You look at the season Quinn's having. Quinn Hughes is having. It's coming together for the Canucks at the right time, and you got to wonder whether they can sustain this. But right now they're off to a great start, and they're people thought they might be a playoff team. They might, be in that area, but I don't think anyone thought they'd be 9-2-1 to start the season.
Yeah, they're playing very well. There's no question about that. And I like their team. They've got a lot of high-end players. I agree that they, still probably got to be a little bit better defensively, but I thought Demko would be the reason why I picked them and Hughes and Pettersson. I said, hey, they got a really good player all key positions, I think they're going to be good enough to be a playoff team. And then as they get closer, maybe they make some other moves. We'll see. But hey, they beat the Oilers 3 times. And they beat them 8-1, 6-2, and 4-3. Like, their average, I guess, what is that? 18 goals in 3 games, for goodness sakes, man. Like, it's been 18-6. It's been pretty much domination by the Canucks through 3 games.
Yeah, it has. And then the Oilers, I think the only decent game they played was that one at home, and that they probably should have won. Again, they had big spells in that game where they kind of dominated, and they just couldn't get through. But yeah, they have the talent there, and they have the belief there. I think that's one of the things too, is that Rick Tocchet's really brought that belief that, hey, we're a good team. We have the ability to score some goals when we need to. We play well defensively. So I think, yeah, they've only given up 24 goals against, I think, this year. So that's, that's how good defensively they've been. So I think it starts from there. Starts from goaltending and goes through with, they have a world-class defenseman, some awesome forwards, Elias Pettersson, like you said, is having a fantastic year. So they have the tools there. And yeah, they, the first game they dominated the Oilers. I thought the second half of last night they dominated the Oilers. And then you look at Edmonton's team, and there's so many holes right now. There's so many things to fix. You got to wonder if they can do it in time to save Jay Woodcroft's job.
Yeah. How thin ice do you think he's on?
Well, I think this is the thing. If they lose to San Jose, I think he's in big trouble, right? You can't lose that game tomorrow. Like, so we've gotten to the point where you can't lose. Like, it's because it's the Sharks. They cannot lose to the Sharks tomorrow, or else forget about it. The Sharks are an atrocious team. They're getting just lit up every night. So you have to win that game.
Yeah.
And I think that it goes from there. But I do think, and judging by the move that they made today, I do think that they're going to try and fix this internally first before they start blaming the coach. And listen, Jay Woodcroft hasn't forgotten how to coach. Last couple of years, he's been a great coach, got a great winning percentage. You don't just forget. I think now is the real time where you really can tell a coach's mettle is when things are going great. Yeah, everybody can coach. Anyone can open the door and say, "Go guys, we're going great." So when they're not going great is when you really have to figure things out, and then you'll get to see what kind of a coach he is. So I think they will give him time to work his way out of it. I think that's only fair. But there's got to be a cutoff where if it's not going and you look like you're risking the season, I think then you got to wonder about that. But I do think that he's earned that time to kind of work his way out of this mess.
What about Pickard? When do you think they're going to play him? Derek Van Diest joins us for NHL.com.
Well, if you play him, why would you play him tomorrow? Or Thursday against the San Jose Sharks? If you're going to play him, if you can see what he can do it then, because you're not going to get a worse opponent than that. You're not going to get an easier spot on the bingo card than that. I think you come in, play him, let's see what he can do, whether or not he's capable of doing that. So he's got over 100 games in the NHL, so it's not like it's a new thing for him. Like he's kind of been a journeyman guy. He's never really kind of stuck anywhere, but he has that NHL experience. So I think they call him up, let him play, and then you get to look at him and say, okay, can he play in this? Can he play in this league? Can he help us out? And depending on how he does, you go from there, because obviously Stuart Skinner is struggling. They want Stuart Skinner to get going. He hasn't been able to get going. So I wouldn't be surprised if Calvin Pickard was in the net on Thursday, but just to give the Oilers a bit of a jolt. And if he's he's a guy comes in and has a good game, that could spark a team, and the guys could rally around that. And I think right now the Oilers need something to rally around, because there's so many things going wrong right now, and it's one of those things that no matter what they're doing, it's not working. So maybe they can come in and Calvin Pickard can give them a bit of a spark.
Yeah, well, you're right. Something's got to get going. There's no question about it. Derek Van Diest joins us. Derek, people talk about the coach. Like, obviously, I think if they lose to San Jose, they're like, oh my goodness, like that would be catastrophic, honestly. Like, and for the Oilers and also for my personal life, so that would suck. But even if they win that game, like I'm not sure it really, like it might calm it for a bit. But if they go into Seattle and stink out the joint again, to me, then it's just you haven't gained anything, because after the Calgary game, we thought, okay, now they're going to take a step, and then they've lost 3 in a row, right? So the San Jose game, it sucks, but I'm not even sure that gives much other than maybe, if they blow out the team and maybe you get a few guys score some goals to maybe get some offensive confidence, but I'm not sure it alleviates any pressure unless this team can win in Seattle and start maybe going on a streak.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's kind of a landmine, that game against San Jose, right? Only bad things can happen. If you go out there and blow out that team and you score 10 goals on them, like other teams have done this year, you're just it's just the Sharks. Like you should be beating the Sharks that much. So you should be dominating and blowing out the Sharks, because they're just an awful team right now. They probably couldn't compete in the AHL, much less the NHL. But yeah, that game against Seattle, then it's a stepping stone towards then that game against Seattle. Now that's more of a test. That's more of a, okay, you got to be able to beat a team like Seattle. So yeah, I think what that game in San Jose does on Thursday is give them a bit of a reprieve. I just honestly, Jason, I cannot see them going there and lose that game. And if they do, then the problems are a lot deeper than you and I thought they were. But I think if that game, they should blow out the Sharks. It was Pittsburgh, I think, and then Vancouver, I think, both put 10 goals up on these guys. So yeah, the Oilers got to score a lot of goals on these guys, because they're just not doing anything well. But then they get back to reality against Seattle, and okay, let's see, can we kind of get that reprieve against San Jose, and then go into Seattle and have a good effort in Seattle and win that game in Seattle and try and get some sort of momentum, because they haven't had any this season. They haven't put two solid efforts together. And I think this is a good opportunity to do that, is to win that game in San Jose, and then focus on a really solid effort in Seattle, and hope that they're able to get that result.
One last one about the Calgary Flames. And, we're seeing already rumblings about their defense and moves are going to, they have won some games here. So maybe that, that calms things in Calgary, but kind of what's your sense of Calgary? And has there been any update? I know it was talked about, but I haven't heard anything yet. Are they like 100% going through with that arena?
I believe it was. I thought the arena deal was through.
But have they started? Like, have they broke ground yet?
No, they have not broke ground yet. So, I'm not sure. Last time I was in Calgary, I was asking about it. They have to just get the funding in place. I think that.
So it's not done. Funding's pretty important.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they've been promised the money, but until they actually get the money, like when a government, whatever level, promises you money, but then actually delivers the money, those are two different things that I'm understanding. So, but they do have the deal ready to go. They haven't broke ground yet. But from my understanding is that, just have to dot some I's and cross some T's and then get going. But that new arena deal, well, if they start working on that, it's still at least 2 or 3 seasons away. But at least it's something, right? They need that new rink. But the Flames, they're playing better. They've still got their issues. I think they beat Seattle the other on Saturday. So and they got the Predators tonight, I believe. And so there's another team that you're not sure which way they're going to go and what direction they're going to go. They kind of got these 2 big contracts with Huberdeau and Kadri. They're kind of locked into those contracts, and they're trying to build the team around those guys. Huberdeau and Kadri, they're not necessarily going yet. So I think Calgary's a team on the brink of, do we blow this up and start it over again, or can we build off this? They have, I think, 6 free agents this summer to kind of try and sign. So I think they're going to kind of go to the 25, 30 game mark and then see where they're at, and then try and figure out, okay, do we stick where we are, or do we start it all over again? And I think that's I think that's a benchmark there when you get to 30 games and see where the Flames are, whether they decide, you know what, it's not working, we're going to have to try it again, or we have a shot at this thing. So I think they're only 3-7-1 this year. So they've really kind of struggled as well. And they were dominated by the Oilers in the Heritage Classic, and they've kind of looked a little better since then. But they're still struggling to kind of put wins together.
DVD, as always, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Have yourself a great day. We will chat with you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
It's Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Great stuff, man. Covering all the 4 Western Conference teams in Edmonton. Winnipeg, Vancouver, and Calgary. We'll return. We'll go in the room, a little fantasy talk with Connor Halley next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
When you call CBS,
Hello, Corporate Business Solutions.
You'll speak with a real live person located right here in Edmonton. No 1-800 number, no call centers, no waiting on hold forever. Just trained, experienced, and local service technicians. CBS is Western Canada's largest Konica Minolta factory authorized dealer of multifunction office equipment, printers, software solutions, and mailing machines. Corporate Business Solutions. Local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Can you believe that summer is over and fall is here? With that in mind, we are offering free furnace upgrades from Daikin, should you be looking to get a new furnace. This means getting a better model of furnace that provides you greater comfort at a lower price. Plus, Daikin has the best warranty in the business. There's never a better time to get a new Daikin furnace from Weiss Johnson. We know how important a good furnace is in Edmonton, so don't procrastinate as this is a limited time offer. Visit wjheats.com today.
The last time you updated your website, was there even a three-point line in basketball?
Get with the times and drain some from downtown. Sports 1440 is a baller in the radio game. And now we're dropping buckets in the digital world as well. That includes building websites. We do it right here in Alberta. You'll be involved every step of the way. And we can even set you up with e-commerce, so fans of your business can support you through your website. Website builds. Contact us at sports1440.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for your auto, residential, and commercial glass needs. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Neon lights shining brightly, make it pretty night.
Oh, it's another great tune. I love it. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation YouTube. Really, you know what? Record-setting day again on the and new texters as well and new commenters at Oilers Nation YouTube. So that's great to get more people involved with the show. It's wonderful. Everybody's fired up about a lot of different things from Jack Campbell to the goalie coach to Woodcroft to Bouchard to the lack of offense across the board. Many people wonder what's up with McDavid. I think it's a valid question, right? The stat from David Johnson talking about how, last year McDavid, now it's a small because it's only 11 games, but last year McDavid over the course of a whole year, which is a much bigger number, 45% of his shots were high danger chances. 45. This year, 23. And if you look at it, it's not. Now he's had a little. I got to double check here, but his shots per game aren't like ridiculously lower than last year. McDavid currently has 26 shots and 9. Well, that's a little bit lower. He was over. So he's shooting less, right? And obviously from much less high danger chances, right? But 45 to 23, that's half. He's not. Last year he wasn't averaging 6 shots a game, right? So when I look at things like I wonder if he's got like a hand or wrist injury, because I look at his stick handling, and it just seems a little McDavid off. Is that fair? Cons, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's it. Like when you're as good as he is, Gregor, unfortunately or unfair or whatever it might be, the standard's always going to be higher. So when he looks a little bit off, you have to ask those questions. And I was sitting there at the Canadian Brew House last night out in Sherwood Park with Sean Brown. We had that exact conversation. Like, is something wrong with him? Like, he looks fine skating wise, but it just seems like there's things in his game that we've become so accustomed to him doing with such ease, and it's not happening. And then the point production's not there, and you're starting to see his frustration out there as well. Probably not only because of his individual struggles right now, but the struggles as a team. So I think there must be something going on that we're not privy to at this point.
Yeah. So let's get to the fantasy report brought to you by Next Gen Transportation. All the new platform trailers have arrived and they're ready to roll. If you need one, reach out. NextGenTransportation.com. Of course, Jack Campbell, if you have him on your fantasy team, well, you probably didn't, but he has been put on waivers today. Will clear, and we'll get to Bakersfield. And you know what? Hey, I wish him well, man. I don't ever wish anybody to fail. And trust me, the Oilers, like, remember Jack Campbell last January? He was very good for a month when Stuart Skinner was away and, was tending to his new child. Jack Campbell played quite well. Many people wanted Jack Campbell to get a start in the playoffs against Vegas. He hasn't been able to find the consistency. That's totally fair. Hasn't lived up to his contract. Totally fair. But the Oilers, at this point, you just want any goalie to play well. So if Jack Campbell has to go to the minors for 2, 3, 4 weeks, he finds his game, he comes back, and he just gives you solid goaltending, not great. We had Mike Kelly on earlier. That stat, the Edmonton Oilers, in 35 of 93 games, only San Jose and Calgary have lower over the last year and this season. Have the Oilers had average or above average in expected saves? That's it. 35 times out of 93 games. It's not good enough. Not close. Just be average is all they're saying. If you can get average goaltending for Edmonton, now, this year, a little bit different. Average goaltending, might get them one more win. Maybe 2. But not much more. Because they haven't played well in front of them. There's no arguing that. Like, you watch, if you haven't seen it, go to my Oilers Nation article today. And it has the video and breakdown of the play that led to the second goal. 3 passes, Canucks go from behind their net, wide open in the Edmonton slot goal. Ends up going right through the goalie. So small little error by Holloway on the forecheck. As Strudwick says, he's too much in front of the net, just move to the side. So then the D-man can at least make a forward tape pass. But as he said, he goes, worst case scenario, it's a 3-on-3. A 3-on-3 should never result in a high danger chance wide open in the slot. And it did. And it was a goal. And it was a crusher. But then, even then, the Oilers, you know what? Holloway kind of redeemed himself. They forecheck, they get a goal. Now it's 3-2. You're right. Okay. There's still 31 minutes left in the game. But Evan Bouchard, 2 egregious errors. Boom. 4-2. Game over. Good night, Irene. So for fantasy, man, like, I know Bouchard's good on offense, Cons. Who is your fantasy pick of the week in the NHL? Who are you liking?
Oh, in the week, that's a good question. I've been really getting into the individual, daily fantasy, Gregor. I think there's a few guys potentially. I like it between the pipes. Connor Ingram tonight. He's been playing better as of late, taking on Seattle. And the line stacking is a good strategy in the daily fantasy. So if you can get O'Reilly, Philip Forsberg, and Gustav Nyquist against the Flames. We saw them Saturday night. I think they're playing pretty well. I like those types of things going forward here tonight.
All right, let's get to the comment. A Sports 1440 update brought to you by BIE Engineering, specializing in all your residential, commercial, and structural engineering needs. Go to BIEENG.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers making a move, waiving goaltender Jack Campbell for the purpose of reassignment to the Condors. Campbell 1-4 on the season so far with a 4.5 goals against average and an .873 save percentage. The Oilers off till Thursday. They'll take on the San Jose Sharks, who are in action tonight when they take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Right now, though, after 20 minutes, Lightning beating up on the Montreal Canadiens 4-0 right now. Hurricanes have a 1-0 lead over the Sabres. Midway through the first, the Islanders trail the Wild 1-0. Pat Maroon with his second goal of the season in that one. And the Rangers leading the Red Wings 1-0 in the first as well. Later tonight, Jets take on the Blues. Flames host the Preds. Kraken taking on the Coyotes. Avs up against the Devils. And the Penguins are in Anaheim taking on the Ducks. From the NFL, according to reports, quarterback Carson Wentz will sign with the LA Rams. Last season, Wentz appeared in 8 games with the Washington Commanders. And the Arizona Cardinals announcing that quarterback Kyler Murray will make his season debut this Sunday when they take on the Atlanta Falcons. 2 games in the AJ, Whitecourt and Camrose and GP hosting Brooks. Both those games starting at 7. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. We've got Fox Sports Radio coming up at 9. And then tomorrow morning is Kevin Carius and Brandon Douglas. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports 20.
Christensen Communities, the name and